Go live. All right, let's make sure everything's working here. I think we're ready. Getting ready for the second Kraken game, the first one, first away game of the preseason for the Kraken. Looks like we got a few people in here already. 15 minutes away from puck drop. And I am fingers crossed that my setup here is going to work and that everything goes smoothly at the start. So, yeah, we're hoping that works out. Let's see here. A little bit rusty with this streaming thing because it's been a minute since those last couple of drafts. All right, I think that we're good there. Make sure we're not getting any feedback. I don't want any audio from that. Alrighty, I think we're good. Getting ready. Welcome Welcome in, everybody. What's cracking? We are getting ready for the second game in Seattle Kraken history, the first away game. This time in Edmonton against the Edmonton Oilers. And yeah, puck drops at 6 o'clock, so we're about 15 minutes away, or I guess 14 minutes now. And yeah, first game went well. Obviously, if you had a chance to see that, maybe some of you were even in Spokane watching that game. Yeah, Kraken pulled that one off 5-3 after falling down 2-0 in the first period. Came back 3 goals right away in the second period. Vancouver was able to tie it up, but then 2 goals in the third and ended up winning 5-3. So we're coming into this one 1-0. Edmonton is also 1-0 in the preseason. Obviously, records don't matter a ton in the preseason, but it's always good to get that win. 2 a.m. start for us, Ben says, over in the UK. Awesome. Welcome, UK. Welcome from the UK. I understand a little bit of that's like, again, watching Formula One. The Russian Grand Prix started at 5 a.m. for me, and I wanted to watch it. I couldn't get up at 5 a.m., so I'd hit record on that one and just avoided any spoilers, but good on you being here at 2 a.m. Florence, Oregon. All right. Yeah, so we're getting close. I don't know if any of you guys are coming up. Obviously, it was cool for the Kraken to have that game over in Spokane. I don't know if anyone's going to come up and get a chance. I don't know if they still have tickets to the home game against the Oilers in Kent, but they'll be in Kent and in Everett next week for the next couple of home games. Obviously, the arena is ready. They did say that. Todd Leiweke was on during the broadcast of the last game and did say the arena is ready. They just wanted to make sure to have this last couple of weeks to really make sure everything is good to go, get out any of those kind of kinks or bugs or whatever that might be waiting for them when they first open up. So still good to have that buffer time even if the arena is totally ready to go. Obviously, first home game October 23rd, so they have first home game in the Climate Pledge Arena is the 23rd, so they still got some time before that starts up. First week is away, a few different places, obviously starting on the 12th against Vegas in Vegas. But yeah, this will be a fun one against Edmonton. So they did pull off that one, like I said, against Vancouver 5-3, but it was definitely a Vancouver lineup that was not featuring all their best players, obviously with a couple of them at the time anyway still not signed, and still had a couple guys like Pettersson and Hughes were not signed yet at that point. I think Pettersson's been signed if I remember right since then. Let's pull up, but this game might be more of a test for the Kraken. So I'm pulling up, here's the lineup for the Oilers coming into this game is, especially on the forward end, this is pretty much the Oilers lineup. You got Hyman, McDavid, and Puljujärvi on the first line. Then Nugent Hopkins, Draisaitl, and Yamamoto on the second line. Perlin, Shore, and Torres is the third line. And then McLeod centering the fourth line with Benson and Skivier. Those might be guys I don't know as well, but this is definitely at least the top end of this lineup. The first two lines there, and even that third line a little bit. This is pretty much what Edmonton has the best. Edmonton's giving us their best shot, at least early on. I don't know, like, this it's still preseason, so they might towards the end of the game start kind of leaning more on that third and fourth line for Edmonton and not going as heavy with those first two lines of their starters and their stars. But at least the start of this game we're gonna get to see the Kraken up against a couple of the best forwards in the game with McDavid and Draisaitl centering the first and second line. And then if they go to power play, I'd be surprised if we didn't see Draisaitl and McDavid on the power play for Edmonton if the Kraken ended up getting a penalty early on, and that's about as good of a test as the penalty kill is going to get. So yeah, obviously still it's still preseason, so regardless of what happens, it doesn't really matter. But this will be a good test, especially see how they play in kind of a more defensive style against Vancouver. They were really able to lean on that aggressive style and came out strong against the Canucks, but and really kept the pressure on the Canucks for most of that game and controlled it pretty heavily. I don't know that they're going to be able to have that much control in this game, especially with that lineup that Edmonton's putting out tonight, but we'll see. Either way, it's going to be a good test. Again, I think at this point we're kind of expecting the Kraken to be a little bit more of a defensive team. Maybe saying that they'll be a trap team is a little bit of an exaggeration from what's going to be actually happening. But has it started? No, it has not started yet. It'll start in about 8 minutes, and I am hoping that my setup here for this works and that we're all good to go. I think we are, but I guess I'll find out here in a few minutes. Starting at 6. If you're watching it on TV, then it may have already, like, pregame stuff may already be going on, but I'm working off ESPN and ESPN Plus and a VPN. I am going to eventually get something streaming, I think, probably, but yeah, I don't have Fubo TV, and I'm not quite ready to shell out another $65 a month, or $70 a month. Sorry, Dan, I can't agree with the Go Oilers. Ben, I can't agree with the Go Kraken. I'm suffering, but I can't miss this game. Yeah, this is, like I said, the Oilers are like, Vegas is the best team in the division for sure, but at least on the offensive end, the Oilers are definitely going to offer the Kraken the best test. And again, like we've said, but McDavid, Draisaitl, their top 6 is all playing tonight, at least at the start anyway. So this is going to be a test. Welcome to the NHL. Nate says, welcome to the NHL Kraken. Seeing those jerseys on the ice is awesome. Can't wait to get mine. Yeah, those they did look really nice in I guess to be expected, right? I think everyone's been a pretty big fan of them so far, or the vast majority of people have been, and yeah, seeing them on the ice, they looked really good on the ice, for sure. What VPN am I using? I'm using ExpressVPN right now. Nord is another good option. I think that a lot of people, I saw on the subreddit some people talking about VPN, ESPN Plus, and I think a lot of them were using Nord, but yeah, using Express for now, and it worked on my phone for the first game, so I'm hoping that it works on the laptop here for the second one. But if it doesn't work out on the laptop, I'll pull it up on my phone and we'll try and figure it out. But we're gonna make this happen one way or another. Might be a little bit of a delay because of that. Obviously, the VPN not going to be perfectly live, but you'll get to like watch. Maybe you'll see what's happening, then can turn over and see the reaction to it live with the delay going on there. Using Molvard, I haven't heard of that one, but there's a lot of VPNs out there, so yeah, I mean, do your research and try and figure out what's best for you. Again, Express worked, new to this, but Express worked for me for the first game, and I know Nord is a popular one that a lot of people use for streaming things. So, but again, yeah, there's a lot of other ones out there for sure. see what else we got there. And if you guys, if any of you are new to hockey at all, feel free to ask questions throughout the game. I'll try to do my best to be watching the chat as well and answering as many of those as I can as things go along. Obviously going to be watching the game pretty intently too, so I'll do my best to keep up with any chats going on. But yeah, see, should be 5 minutes away. I'm hoping that like last time with this that it kind of had like a event starting soon thing popping up, which is not coming up just yet. So I'm trying to figure out how to get this. Make sure this is the right. It says September 8th or 28th. Make sure, I'm going to check on my phone here, make sure it's not just the laptop. I mean, we still do have 5 minutes until it actually is supposed to start, so we'll see here. All right, ESPN Plus. See what else we got here. Love the content, keep it up. Hopefully your channel blows up one day. Hey, just keep putting in the videos and slowly but surely it goes up. It doesn't, some people it happens all at once, but it's a lot of the sports channels, it's a slow grind, and especially with hockey, I'm not, hopefully, it's still been going up slowly. The off season has definitely been an off season for the channel as well, as far as growth is concerned, but hey, still some small progress, and Oilers gonna win. They're certainly putting out a lineup to try and win. But yeah, appreciate that. Hockey montages, appreciate it. If you're new to hockey, then thank your lucky stars you became a fan after the 2-line rule was taken away. Yeah, I mean, that was definitely a less exciting era of hockey, we'll say. Depending on who you're a fan of, I guess. Still some teams manage to make it work, but yeah, it's not like the NHL's in a perfect place right now, but I think the future's bright. They just need to get this whole kind of the thing figured out with the refs that kind of, I would say, stole some of the thunder from last season. A lot of the focus went on to the refs especially after that accidental mic situation with, I forget who the guy was, but one of the, basically saying that they were trying to even out penalties, which is kind of a thing that like everyone knew, but actually having it mic'd up on a ref. I'm glad you're here. Appreciate it, Kevin. Good to see you. Good to see you around. Good to see you in the stream here. And we're 2 minutes away. Hoping this pulls off. Let me try and search it up on this ESPN Plus app as well. Make sure I'm not. Okay, it says live here, so I don't know. Oh, maybe we're good. Might be good. Oh, there we go. Cool. Looks like it's working. That's good news. Then I got to try and get this set up so that not too much of the sound is coming through. Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to, so I got the laptop like basically right behind the mic here, so I'm hoping that not too much sound comes through. I might have to put my headphones on here for a second, but love the banners on your. It's all Photoshop and then just kind of PNG and plaster it on there. Yeah, I mean, if any of you guys are ever like the whole like the little graphics around here, that's all Photoshop, pretty simple, just a little PNG, and then OBS makes everything real easy, and that's free. Photoshop not supposed to be free, but yeah, OBS is free, and it's worked great for me so far. So yeah, this will be good. A little bit little bit less updating things than we had with the if you joined for the two drafts, the expansion draft and then the entry draft. Obviously, I tried to do my best with keeping up with like typing in the names of those ones. And all right, here we go. I'm just gonna put the headphones on for just a second to make sure not too much sound is coming through from the. Make sure too much sound is coming through from the game here. Ooh, someone's got. Who's that? I think that's Geeky's got some pretty nice looking tats. Doesn't sound like it. All right, I'm gonna take that off. If you guys can hear too much of the game, let me know, because I don't want to get this, don't want to get this copyrighted. So I might turn it down a little bit more just to. There we go. I don't think that'll come through. I mean, the mic is directional, so hopefully it's not too much coming through. But there they are, John Forsland, JT Brown. A lot of people are like, let me know what you guys think if you watched that first game. A lot of people were not super excited about JT Brown's first game commentating, but obviously it's preseason for everyone, and that was his first ever game doing color. So, he's a rookie at it, and he's figuring it out. Obviously, I'm sure he had all sorts of nerves and probably still does and probably will early on in the season, but I think he'll do a good job. I think he'll do good. I'm not too worried about it. Obviously, Forsland is as experienced as they come and as good as they come on the play-by-play side, so they'll get JT caught up. Even if you weren't a huge fan of his first game, they'll get him caught up. Be good. Yeah, and it should be up and streaming now if you're on ESPN Plus. Looks like it's up and going a couple minutes early. There's Connor McDavid suited up and ready to go. Yeah, this is gonna be quite a test for Seattle again. If you weren't here right when we started, just to pull it up here again, I'm gonna get rid of that. The Oilers lineup is basically the top six is basically their top six. They've got Hyman, McDavid, Puljujarvi on the first line, Nugent Hopkins, Draisaitl, Yamamoto on the second line, and then third and fourth lines, Turris is still on the third line, so third and fourth lines are a little bit less. And then on the defensive side, Nurse and Tyson Barrie are on the first pairing. So especially the forwards, but even their defense, they've pretty much got, and Smith and Koskinen in goal. So they're rolling out, at least to start with, they're rolling out their team pretty much. See if I can find the Kraken if they've posted a lineup yet. I'm sure they have, and I haven't seen it because I was trying to. Hold on, I got some noise coming through over here. There we go. Let's see if we get the Kraken lineup. I wish the team would just post their lineup, but I gotta rely on. Yeah, I haven't seen. Okay, so the team hasn't posted the lineup yet. Let's see if any of our other friends have. Oh, here we go. Oh, that's expected Oilers lineup. Never mind, we know the Oilers lineup. Let's see if we can find the Kraken lineup. If anybody has seen the Kraken lineup, feel free to post it in there. How's it going, Ryan? Says, what's up? Is it on Sportsnet now? I don't know if it's on Sportsnet or TSN. I'm in the States, so and I don't have Sportsnet or TSN, so I don't know if it's on those or not. I mean, if you're anywhere near Edmonton, then I would imagine probably have access to it. This is a home game for the Oilers. Got the national anthems coming up. Anyone having trouble with ESPN Plus buffering? Not at the moment, but let me know. I mean, there's not like anything I can do about it, but. All right, either my sound is down or they've got some mic issues with the national anthem guy here. Oh, yep, looks like they're working out some issues of their own over in Edmonton. Or maybe that's Root. I don't know. This is definitely hard to hear the the national anthem. Even there's the away jerseys. First look at those. Those do look really nice. I like white jerseys, but they're hard to wear. I definitely tend to prefer. I definitely tend to prefer like color jerseys. I know there's some people that like wish that hockey would go back to the whites for home and the colored jerseys for away like it used to be, but personally I love seeing the colored jerseys home. So but our away jerseys do look really nice. Both of them do, but the aways, I think the aways like surprised me how nice they look. I did not even need a VPN. I don't know where you're at, Mark, but yeah, I don't know. It sounds like the blackout areas for the first game especially were kind of weird. Like I was seeing someone in Montana was blacked out for the first game on Root Sports, which is yeah, that's kind of weird. Well, because they were blacked out, and then they also like Root Sports wasn't carrying the game, so it was yeah, kind of a double-edged sword there. Guy with the Blue Jays jersey on. Obviously, the Mariners will be starting up here in an hour. Not that we're not watching the Mariners, but Mariners starting up here in an hour, and they kind of need the Blue Jays to lose in order to catch them here for the wild card. Of course, they're playing the Yankees, and either one of those teams that loses is good. Good news. Drieger's getting the start. So regardless of if I can find the lineups, we at least know Drieger's starting, which probably means Decord, I would imagine, probably comes in for the second half. Kind of like last game they had Grubauer. Grubauer came out for Drieger kind of halfway through the second. I'd imagine probably a similar thing for this game. I bet Drieger probably plays into the second period and then comes out for Decord somewhere in the middle. Would be my guess, but we'll see. Let's see. Still looking for the Kraken lineup. If anybody else has seen the Kraken lineup, feel free to put that in the chat, because I am have not found it yet. Yeah. I don't want to like stare at my phone too much here, but I want to find that lineup. We know Drieger's out there. Here we go. I guess they're going. You're going to be talking about the lineup here? Maybe not. No game on Sportsnet tonight. I don't know. Yeah. Unfortunately. So let's see. It's Tanev. Oh, interesting. So Lauzon's in there. So we didn't see Lauzon last game, so we're seeing Lauzon right away. Yeah, Connor. Oh, good defense. Who was that? Is that Lauzon? I think that was Lauzon. Just shut down Dryside. Oh no, that was McDavid. He shut down. So it's interesting line here. It looks like Johansson. I guess they're getting a change now. Okay, so Donato, True, Yarncroke is one of the lines. That's probably fourth line. Dunn, Alexiak, Evans. Oh, Tanev. Tanev took something in the face. So Appleton, Tanev. Oh yeah, Tanev got hit in the mouth right away. So it was Appleton, Tanev, and McCann on the first line there. So that's an interesting first line. They're definitely trying out new things. We knew they were going to do that. Yeah, Tanev got hit in the mouth. Probably, I'm sure he'll be back. I saw they didn't say anything about it in the last game, but Tanev. We saw they like gave a quick shot that Tanev going into the locker room in the last game as well, and then never said anything about it. And he was back on the ice pretty quick. So I don't know what happened there. They never really said anything about it, but saw him get smacked in the mouth there. He'll probably be back. Usually there's not a lot that stops. I mean, I guess it is preseason, so maybe it's not as important to be as tough as possible, but pretty good so far. I mean, they're keeping in the zone, and this is not the best. So there's Geeky. Good defense so far. They've really been able to whop around. Oh, ooh, that was a dangerous chance. Just over. Drieger got the first block there and just chipped over the net. That one definitely could have ended up in the net. Yeah, they're definitely 11. I don't. Oh, that's True. So True's 11. So True's out there as well. I hadn't seen True at all. I didn't see him in practice. He was another one of the guys that was kind of on that second group that wasn't at the practice I was at. Yeah, they're playing pretty tough. This is good start so far. First time streaming a game here too. So if I zone out for a little bit, sorry about that. Try and keep it coming there. But yeah, so far off to a good start. They've really a couple of chances. The McDavid almost got a shot off, but Lauzon was able to get his stick on it before McDavid could shoot it off. And then I didn't see who got the chance. Draisaitl, I think, had the first shot, and then it kind of rebounded. And there's, ooh, nice shot. Smith saves it. Lauzon just sniped it in there, but yeah, 2 shots on goal for the Kraken, nothing for the Oilers, but they did have one that was very close. They had one that just kind of tried to chip it over the pad and got it over the net, but big hit. That's Borgen. Kind of stole the puck from, I don't know who 70 is for the Oilers, but all right, and this looks like, I can't tell. I wish I knew who the lines are. Okay, so I'm still getting used to some of these. So Nathan Bastian's out there. Still getting used to some of the numbers as well. So looks like Bastian's out there with McCann, Cheyenne. Oh, it's Cheyenne, okay. So maybe McCann isn't out there. So far, Kraken not looking too bad. Absolutely, they're definitely I'll be honest, I was kind of expecting them to spend a lot of time in the defensive zone against these, especially against the top 2 lines. But they've been holding their own against both the McDavid and Draisaitl line, which is definitely a good sign. Okay, here we go. McDavid out. Good block, good block. Ooh, and a hit. McDavid with the puck. My goodness. All right, shot from the middle. McDavid kind of passed it off, and then a shot straight from the middle right into Drieger's gut. So Edmonton gets a couple shots on goal there, but Drieger's up to the challenge. Yeah, does look like they're really keying on McDavid and making sure he's not going to get any easy opportunities, which is much easier said than done. Yeah, Chris Drieger in net for the Kraken, and Smith's in net for the Oilers. And again, I probably would expect to see Decord in the second half of this game. I don't think Drieger will go the whole time, but we'll see. Haven't seen Tanev back out yet, so who knows. Let's see, Appleton's chasing back. McDavid, oh! Tripping on, oh, so Appleton got tripped. Is that, who's the penalty on? Looks like Kraken going on the power play. Is it McDavid going to the box? Nope. We're gonna get an announcement. That was a nice pass. That was that was McDavid trying to get it to Hyman and just didn't quite connect up. Okay, I don't know who that. Oh, so Zach Hyman got tripped Appleton, and power play for the Kraken early on here. Welcome in anybody that's new to the stream. We're watching along the second preseason game for the Seattle Kraken, second game against another team, first away game. Oof, nice shot. Yarncroke pulls it. It looks like Dunn playing quarterback on the power play for the first power play tonight. They got Dunn out there. Dunn was another one we didn't see in the first game that definitely expecting to see. Oh, can't quite get to it. Out of the zone. So it's Yarncroke and Dunn. So it's Yarncroke, Geeky, Dunn. Donato's out there again for the first power play. Yeah, and Donato was the one that was pulling the trigger quite a bit against the Canucks. They're definitely giving Donato a pretty good look. Oh! It was a nice try there. Donato keeps it in. Oh, Dunn. Nice glove. And Donato's back in that same spot he was. So Donato's kind of back in that same spot that he was on the right side. Right by the face-off circle, just hanging out there and on the power play. It looks like they're switching out to the second power play. I am not familiar with some of these numbers. Appleton's still out there. True's out there. Don't know who 58 is. Oh, that's Lind. Okay. And Riker Evans, that was the second round pick by the Kraken. He's already out there. Obviously, we're not going to see Beniers until after Michigan's season is done. And it's back to 5-on-5. Darnell Nurse out there. Oh! 1-0 Oilers. Yep, Darnell Nurse just kind of skated it right in and gives it a flick of the wrist straight down the middle and got past Drieger. Let's see how that ends up happening. Yeah, he just kind of skates. Oh, neither one of them. So that was... It just kind of goes right between... Okay, who's 58? It's right between Evans and someone else and just goes right through the legs of Drieger. Bummer. Get this updated. Oh, hold on. Wrong one. Oh, wait, that's the wrong one. Unfortunate. Oh, another power play. Edmonton delay of game penalty. Smith just chopped at the puck and sent it right over the glass. So, yeah, obviously the goalie doesn't... If you're new to hockey, obviously the goalie does not go to the penalty box, so they just... One of the guys that was on the ice will go to serve that 2 minutes. Oh, Donato pulls the trigger right off the face-off pretty much there. And they'll clear it out. All right, Dunn back on quarterbacking this first power play unit. Although it looks like they've got Geeky. I think that was Johansson, and I can't see who that other... Oh, 19, so that's... Who's not... Yarncroke's 19. Still getting used to some of these numbers. The Oilers cheat. They slept with the puck. Yeah, I mean, it still hasn't looked bad for the Kraken. They just kind of... As third defensive pairing, they just kind of like... Neither one of them committed to defending Nurse as he kind of just skated in and shot it right between the two defenders there. So you'd like to see them try and defend that maybe a little bit better. One of them kind of check him, but neither one of them like stepped up to check him at all. So yeah, this power play not going as well for the Kraken. This is Not really spending a lot of time in the offensive zone. Not what you want to see. 30 seconds left on the power play. They've spent more time outside of the offensive zone than in it. 20 seconds left on the power play here. Lauzon's over to Lind. Ooh, get a shot off True. True looking for Lind. Doesn't get it. 3 seconds left. Oh, an offside. Okay. Well, once again, do not come up on the power play. Yeah, yeah, obviously we knew this. This was going to be more of a challenge for the Kraken than the first game, but it's the chemistry, especially with these lower lines, is not looking like the same as it. Woo! I don't think that was offsides, but I don't know. 1 second probably wouldn't have made a huge difference, but probably might have gotten one more shot off. And Tanev's back out there. I think someone said that in the chat. Oh, Tanev on the bench, yeah. So Tanev's back out there. Drieger has to save that. Yeah, I mean it was pretty much a. There's no one between him and the shot, so you'd like to see him come up with that one for sure. Still could have definitely been defended better, but yeah, that's one that you'd like to see him get a pad on. Are we looking bad in any way besides that score? I would say the lower lines definitely. Looks like a little bit less chemistry kind of than what we saw, especially from the lower lines, but defensively they've been pretty good. They've shut down a couple of rushes by McDavid, which is definitely something good to see because they're going to have to be able to do that during the regular season. Overall, I'd say it's pretty good. Just kind of one shot that, yeah, it's probably both one that Drieger probably could have gotten a pad on, and definitely one that could have been maybe defended a little bit better than it was. But so far, not too bad. Obviously, the score is not ideal, but and you would have liked. I would say kind of maybe the most disappointing part of the game so far was that last power play. They really didn't make anything happen until the very end. They got a couple of chances, but that was 2 minutes of pretty much the puck just being shot back across the ice every time they got near the offensive zone. Just a good kill by the Oilers, but a couple of sloppy passes and weren't able to really get anything going until the last like 10 seconds, and then had an offsides that probably wasn't offsides, but it was close. It got called. Greg had stupid fly. Go Kraken. Thanks for the sweet Kraken content. Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it. Gonna keep it coming. Season's ramping up. Season's ramping up. Got 4 more preseason games after this one, and then 4-day break, and then regular season starts on the 12th. Let's see, Appleton. This is back what this is. So I think this is the first line. It's at least the first line they rolled out is Tanev, Cheyenne, and Appleton. Definitely an interesting line. It's good to see them giving Appleton a good look. I think I haven't really seen anything too impressive from Appleton so far, and just ooh, that was dangerous. Yeah, so I again, Appleton hasn't shown a ton in a game and half a period so far, but I think he's definitely one of the guys that has a pretty good chance to be like a breakout player for the Kraken. Obviously, like he should have quite a bit more of a chance in Seattle than he got in Winnipeg, where he just never really got the top 6 looks, which obviously you have to earn those, so it's not like they were just going to give it to him. But yeah, Appleton's kind of one of the guys that I'm going to be watching this season, I think, pretty carefully, assuming they give him some good looks. offensive zone, or I guess defensive zone face-off for the Kraken. Let's see what line is that out there. McDavid's out there, so I got the first Oilers line out there right now. Hansen, Geeky, and Lind out there for the Kraken. Definitely not the most experienced line you'd like to see against McDavid, but all right, Nurse takes a shot. See there how they play this defensively. Oh, ooh. Good defense there. Johansson's going to kind of just chip it in, and they'll probably go for change here. Probably both going for a change, I would imagine. Who's that is still in there for checking? That's Geeky in there still. Oh, ooh. All right, they got someone for hooking. Torinsky for hooking, so Oilers will go onto the power play, and this is one of the best power plays, assuming they put out Draisaitl and McDavid. This is one of the most skilled power play units in the league. So this will be a big test for whoever the Kraken put out on the kill. Here comes the test for the PK. Yep, absolutely. This is, I mean, assuming the Oilers aren't pulling punches here, they might as, I mean, got they've got Draisaitl and McDavid in the lineup, so they might as well put them both out on the power play. Be interesting to see who the Kraken put out there on the penalty kill against those two. Jessica, new to hockey, thanks for the... Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Jessica, if you have any questions, feel free to... Or anybody else that's in here that's somewhat newer to hockey, feel free to leave any questions, and I'll do my best to... Like I said, I'm trying to do my best to watch the chat as well and answer any questions or anything like that. For sure, and I'm sure if there's people in the chat that'll help you out as well if you have any questions. What are the pairings of the defensive lines? I'm still trying to figure out some of these. So it looked early on they had Lauzon and Borgen, I think it looked like was the first defensive pairing. Looks like both. Definitely haven't seen Gio out there, so I think Giordano has the night off. And the Kraken will play the Flames tomorrow night, so we're gonna see. There's definitely gonna be splitting time with a lot of these guys. So yeah, there's no Giordano. I don't think I've seen Alexiak either, but I could be wrong about that one. Let's see, so we got Lauzon, Borgen are out there. Ooh. Someone got a stick on that. So it's Tanev, Cheyenne, Lauzon, and Borgen. Oh, Krieger got back over. Nice. Good job, Cheyenne. He'll just skate it out. They're going to get a change. So Darnell Nurse. So yeah, they got a change. So it's Appleton. Okay, so Alexiak is out there. So Appleton, Alexiak. 18. Oh, that's 58. That's, who's 58? I keep seeing 58 out there. I can't remember who he is. Another change, so it's back to, looks like it's back to those first four. Oh no, it's back to Cheyenne and Tanev, and then they've got Dunn and Borgen out there. So Dunn kind of came in for Lauzon from that first PK unit. McDavid shoots it down, blocked. Oh no. Oh, nice save, Drieger. Woo! Drieger get a glove on that shot by McDavid. That was a nice save. But we're going to 5-on-3 for 30 seconds. Borgen got, I think, got caught for tripping there. Yep. Yep. Yeah, that's not the best move there by Borgen. Nice save, Drieger. Yeah, that's definitely robbed that one. Oh, $2 from Braun. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate you, Scott. I appreciate you. Yeah, awesome. Love to see it. Ah. That's unfortunate. You would have liked to see them kill off those last 30 seconds. So now that just takes off the last. They're back to the power play anyway, because that just takes off the last 20 seconds of the first penalty. Yep. Who was that? So Nugent Hopkins kind of is handling it. Drieger has to try and guard him, and then Puljujärvi just puts it on the other side. Yeah, it's like as much of a like basically a 2-on-1 at the net. There's not a lot Drieger can do there. All right, well, 2-0, 2-0 Oilers, and they're on the power play still. I will say this, like, even if this game doesn't go particularly well, which so far it's been like it's been pretty back and forth despite what the score says. Um, I will say the Oilers probably have had the better of it for the most part, but the Kraken have spent a fair amount in the offensive zone as well. There you go, missed pass there. And obviously this was going to be more of a test than like half of the AHL team for the Canucks was. But the Kraken are still like they're definitely trying some things with lines. We haven't seen not a single one of these lines has looked the same as what we saw in the first game. So we'll see what it looks like tomorrow night because they do have a back-to-back here in the preseason. They got back-to-backs. They got Flames again tomorrow, and then they've got day off, and then back-to-back Friday, Saturday against Flames and Oilers as well at home that time. So a couple of back-to-backs in a row. So they're definitely going to be trying out a lot of different lines during this preseason, kind of see what happens. And so far there really has not been nearly the chemistry. It doesn't seem like that there was in the first game from really any of the lines. So we'll see. I would imagine a lot like anybody we don't see today we'll probably see tomorrow against the Flames. Oh, good stop. What Kraken jersey am I wearing? This is Giordano. So Giordano and who was the other one? Trying to remember. There was Giordano and someone else had had an assistant captain. So I might have to get that stitch on at some point. Getting an A. So if Giordano has an A on his jersey, they're probably going without a captain and just go with 2 assistant captains for the first season. But yeah, this one's Giordano. Figured he might only spend 1 year with the Kraken. I mean, who knows when he decides to retire. He's only on contract for 1 year, so if he does spend more, then the Kraken will have to sign him again next in the offseason or during the season, extend him. But he was definitely one of the more headline picks that they made in the expansion draft. So even if he spends 1 year with the Kraken and leaves, then at least I've got one of the guys that was one of the bigger names they got in the expansion draft, which still a big part of the team's history. 5-3, yeah. Lauzon is the other A? Okay. That's interesting. I thought I saw it. Okay. I thought I saw someone else with it, but maybe it was Lauzon. I can't remember who it was, so I'll take your word for it, Kevin. I'll believe you. If Lauzon has an A, then that would mean that he's probably on the team, which I would imagine probably means Susie might get traded out. Because I kind of expect either Susie or Lauzon to end up getting traded, but we'll see. They've got too many NHL defensemen to keep on the team, so. All right, here's McDavid with the puck. Yeah, they got two guys on McDavid. They're not going to let him. They're definitely going for the shutdown McDavid. My goodness. McDavid just goes right around two guys. Oh. And that's McDavid. That's all McDavid. Hyman just sat there with his stick next to the net. McDavid just put it right on the stick. Not a good start. not a good start. Yeah, they kind of just... That's what happens if you let McDavid get in space like that. He's going to find somebody. Yeah, they didn't have nobody there to keep Hyman in check. Oof. Oh, in the Canucks game? Okay. Oh, you're right. Lauzon. I don't know why I was talking about Lauzon. We didn't see him. You're right. You're right. Larson was one I thought. Okay, maybe it was Larson. Maybe it was Larson because I don't think it was I don't know. I feel like Larson's the one I remember having the A, but I can't remember. I know Gio had one. I'm pretty sure Gio had one. Who knows? Maybe they're just test driving those patches as well. Put them on everybody to see how it looks on the different jerseys. Figure it out by the start of the season. I don't know that like Kraken struggling against how big the Oilers are and hitting. It doesn't really seem like. It seems like the Kraken are honestly playing a little more physical than the Oilers, which I would kind of expect, but yeah, they're just not able to really keep possession of the puck very well. Yeah, there's your 3 MVP, so 2 for McDavid and 1 for Draisaitl, 3 MVP trophies, or Hearts, I should say. But Hart Trophy is the MVP in the NHL for anybody that's new. Alexiak chips it in. 3 of them, and still not a lot of playoff wins for the Oilers. Not a lot of playoff wins. Kraken can't match the Oilers' speed. Yeah, that's kind of been the biggest. That's kind of, I think, been the biggest problem the Kraken have here is the Oilers are definitely much faster looking out there, which again I think is partly like the Kraken really don't seem like they're getting in as good of positions as they were against the Canucks, which again could be the speed, but it just doesn't seem like there's really the chemistry between some of these lines that we saw in that first game against the Canucks. Like the passing just isn't there. There've definitely been some missed passes and a lot of guys just holding pucks, not finding anybody, but Tyson Barrie. Connor Carrick's out there. Interesting. Yeah, definitely they've got Evans, Carrick, Lind. Like, there's a lot of guys. The Kraken do have a lot of guys, especially on those. Ooh, Evans almost had that one. Yeah, the Kraken are definitely putting more younger guys out this game. So this is not as good of a lineup as they iced against the Canucks, and they're playing against a much better lineup than they faced against the Canucks. So. Ooh, Appleton still got a piece of it. And this is that first line again. Puljujarvi, Hyman, and McDavid. So McDavid's got it. Dropped it off. We're coming to the end of the first period here. Did not go well for Seattle, kind of like the first period against Vancouver. Although I shouldn't say that. The first period against Vancouver, I think, outside of the scoreboard, which is obviously what matters in the end, the Kraken looked clearly better than the Canucks in that first period of the first game. But yeah, the Oilers are much faster and definitely keeping the Kraken from really getting anything going in this first period. Looks like Tanev had an A on his jersey. It's hard to tell from a distance what's the assistant captain patch and what's the inaugural patch. I guess maybe they don't have the inaugural patch on the jerseys. Or Drieger doesn't. I don't know. Yeah, this is definitely at the bottom a much younger lineup the Kraken have out tonight. Just Lauzon getting a little chippy. All right. Against Nugent Hopkins. And that's the first period. Well, they're maybe playing from behind again. Oh, Henman is suited up. First player signed by the Kraken, number 61, suited up there. I haven't seen him out there, but maybe I just missed him. Yeah, that's Decord. Yeah, Decord's suited up there, so. Well, that's the first period. 3-0 Oilers. And early on, it was pretty back and forth. They were doing a pretty good job, it seemed like, of shutting it down defensively and not letting the Oilers stars get too carried away with the puck. But yeah, it's you can only keep that shut down for so long. And 3-on-5 goal for the Oilers. So a snipe that, again, that was the first goal is one that you probably want to see stopped by either the defense or Drieger could have had that one. Second goal is a 3-on-5 that, I mean, you go 3-on-5. It's you don't want to be going 3-on-5 too much. And then the third one, that's they let McDavid get into space and he found a stick next to the net. So it's kind of what happens if you let McDavid get free. Just switching things up here. Talking to Luke Henman right now. Obviously, he's Henman's definitely used to some of this more media question stuff. Yes, Ben. Kraken do play again tomorrow night. I think it's the same time. I want to say it's another 6 o'clock start in Calgary. So they're coming down from Edmonton down to Calgary tomorrow night, and again, I think we'll see a pretty different lineup again tomorrow night. Obviously, there's a lot of the guys, like a lot of the guys that we saw kind of on the first line. Like there's no McCann. No McCann, there's a few of the guys that we saw against the Canucks, especially the top 6 guys. We were not seeing a lot of them in this game. So I would imagine we see a lot of them again against the Flames. Geo looks like Geo's sitting tonight, which I imagine means he plays against the Flames, and that'll be a fun one. Geo back to where he spent over a decade. Nice to see Hyman working hard for Edmonton. Yeah, Hyman's looked good on that first line so far. Obviously got the goal from he basically just put his stick in the crease and McDavid banked it right off. Oh, this is kind of cool. Given a shot of the construction of the arena. So it's kind of cool, a little video of built the construction of the arena, showing the kind of excavation they did. 60,000 truckloads of dirt. It's a lot of dirt. Positives, Drieger made some great saves. First 3-4 minutes we looked good. Kept a lot of pressure on their goal. Yeah, it did look good early. It's definitely slowly started to kind of go more and more into Edmonton's favor as the period went on there for the first. And Drieger, you could make the argument Drieger, the first goal was, I wouldn't put it all on Drieger, but that's definitely one you'd probably like to see him stop more often than not. Oh, that's kind of cool. They got a bunch of solar panels. They're still showing this kind of montage of the construction of the arena, which, again, Lywicki said is done and ready to go. They're just probably get a couple of weeks to get a little bit more under there, a little more sure of everything, test them things out, make sure there's all the kinks get worked out before that first game. Or I think the first event is like I want to say it's like Coldplay. There's like a concert. I think this is like the first event in the arena the night before the first game. Defensively, they look terrible covering Edmonton. Yeah, it's been rough in the defensive zone. Although, honestly, like, it's really only looked bad against that first line from the Oilers, which, I mean, definitely the majority of when the Oilers look like they're basically dominating the Kraken, it's the McDavid line that's out there. So, obviously, that's a line they're going to have to figure out how to stop during the season because they're going to be facing the Oilers plenty, but, it's definitely the most skilled top six that they're going to play all season. So, and this is pretty much the Oilers' top six. Yeah, I gotta even the Draisaitl line still does seem to have more control than they're keeping control of the puck, but it seems like the vast majority of the chances, and especially the dangerous chances, and obviously one of the goals is coming from that McDavid line. Which again, obviously the Oilers are going to try a few different things out, but it's certainly three of their top six guys on that line, and obviously McDavid being their best player, but. Switch it over here to the second period. Hasn't started yet, obviously, but it's kind of a fun video. I hope they put so obviously the Kraken have their own YouTube channel. I hope they put this video of the construction on their channel. This is some cool stuff. I'd like to check it out again earlier, but let's see what we got going on in the chat here. Only 3-0. What's wrong with the Oilers? Yeah, it seems like it seems like these lineups. This was definitely the way it was going to go. This was going to be a tough win for the Kraken. When like I still haven't seen the official lineup that the Kraken put out there, but it's definitely a much less experienced lineup than they had against the Kraken and their or against the Kraken against the Canucks. It's a much less experienced or lineup that Seattle's putting out than they did against Vancouver. And the Oilers are their top six is pretty much their top six. So this is one that probably wasn't going to go the Kraken's way. Obviously, it's still hockey, and things happen, but yeah, I can't wait to see how this arena looks all finished. I'll be at that first game on the 23rd. What are you watching the game on? I am watching the game on ESPN Plus using VPN. I am hoping eventually to get a streaming option, at least by next year or by spring. I'll have something, but I'm kind of holding out. So obviously the Kraken signed with Root Sports, and that's a whole thing because Root Sports, their only streaming option was the direct TV streaming thing, which is kind of eh. And then they just recently announced that they made a deal with Fubo TV. So I don't know if that's actually up and running yet, but Root Sports has said multiple times during Mariners broadcasts that it will be the Fubo thing will be up and running by the start of the Kraken's regular season on October 12th, or I guess October 14th for Root, since the first game's on ESPN. But I'm hoping they did say that they're looking for more street. They're already actively talking to other streaming services. Fubo was just the only one they're ready to announce. So that's kind of what I'm holding out for. I'm waiting for hopefully one of those other options, like a deal gets done with YouTube TV or maybe Hulu, which are ones that I already have access to. So that's what I'm kind of waiting for. Hoping for a deal with Root in one of those. But yeah, for now it's ESPN Plus, which ESPN Plus is going to have the NHL Network is going on to ESPN Plus for this season. So I thought King was going to carry some of the preseason games. I think they are. I'm pretty sure that they are. Yeah, the preseason games are getting spread out a little bit more. I don't know which ones. Oh, shoot, which ones? It might be the next one. It might be tomorrow's game. Might be on King. I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head. Imagine if Hedman scores. If Hedman scores, that'd be pretty awesome. They're gonna hype the heck out of that if Hedman manages to score. Thank you, wife. A little dinner here. Got some tacos. Oh, we're between periods watching a little bit more of, I think, I can't tell if this is, can't tell if this is climate. Okay, so this is the practice facility. They're showing some of the construction of the practice facility. Yeah, so they're Tate pointing it out. Yeah, the McCann, Eberle, and Schwartz are that whole first line, and Giordano as well from that. From that first five that they had out in the Canucks, the only one playing tonight is Alexiak. So this is definitely they've got Lind out there, they've got Riker Evans out there, they've got Hedman out there. This is definitely a much less experienced Kraken group here that's facing off against, again, one of the more offensively skilled teams, if not the most offensively skilled team in the NHL. Obviously, the Oilers have their own problems defensively and maybe in net since they can't get out of the first round of the playoffs. But it's yeah, looking at the lineups, this was going to be one that was probably not going to go well for the Kraken. Of course, I'm sure there will be people that see this final score, which could be pretty ugly, and jump to conclusions, but I just want to see who earns the first few spots for the Kraken. Yeah, we might have to wait a while for that. I mean, obviously they're going to put out the first game has to have a lineup, but you know, I would expect obviously not as much change as we've seen from the Vancouver game to this game, but I think they're going to be switching some things around throughout the first month or 2 months, and then even if they do get things figured out, Gord is going to come back kind of end of November, it sounds like, or maybe even mid-November, at the kind of most optimistic end of things. And once Gord comes back, then they have to reshuffle things. So this is, especially on the forward end, this is going to be, and forward end and really the bottom of the defense, this is going to be it's going to be a work, kind of a rotating cast of characters for a while. Think a 2-year deal is good for Smith and Keith. Yeah, I think that's probably a good point. Yeah, you probably don't want to lock up either of those guys too long term. But the Keith one was definitely interesting. It's not long, but it's expensive if I remember right. So I can pull up the cap friendly here. So let's see here. Let's see what that. I'm trying to remind myself what that Duncan Keith. Yeah, the Oilers had a very interesting offseason. Yeah, so Duncan Keith, yeah, 2-year deal at 5.5, which isn't too bad. Obviously, they needed something on the defense, but I don't know that Duncan Keith is going to be the answer at this point in his career. He hasn't been out there, so at least I haven't seen him out there. I don't think he's been out there. I don't know what number he's on for them, but they're just now showing the Kraken Oilers highlights on the NHL Network. Yeah, well, it's probably mostly Oilers highlights. Other than that save from Drieger on McDavid. Drieger he had one real nice save on McDavid. Will Yanni be on the IR? Yeah, he'll be IR until sometime in late November, mid to late November. This is an NHL team not even using a lot of their. Oh, this is NHL versus a team not even using a lot of. I mean, yeah, it's not quite maybe as drastic as what we saw in Vancouver, but that's kind of what the Kraken did with Vancouver a couple nights ago. Was they pretty much put out their. Oh, so that's why we haven't seen Wemberg. Is he just had their baby boy? Son Rio Wenberg. Maybe we'll see him in the NHL someday. Born September 25th. So yeah, that's why we haven't seen Wenberg yet. Is he's just had his son. That's exciting. I knew there was a couple of. I can't remember who the other one. I want to say it was like Donskoy or somebody else had a pregnant girlfriend, partner of some kind, wife maybe. I can't remember who has wives and not, but yeah. This little webcam is not always the best quality. Sorry about that. Trying to figure out how to get my normal camera set up for these streams, but yeah, not the best. Okay, so here you go. Yeah, tomorrow night's on Kong or King. Oh no, Kong. I don't know the difference between Kong and King is honestly. I haven't had TV, official TV, in quite a while. So yeah, Calgary at 6 a.m. On Kong, and then their day off, and then another back to back with Flames Oilers on Kong, and then King. So that's, someone was pointing that out earlier. Hope Wenberg has a healthy baby. Seems like it so far. At least in that one picture they showed. I can't imagine he's getting a whole ton of sleep right now, but having just been there myself. Still there for the most part. Last night was not the best sleep ever. All right, here we go. Start of the second period. And the Oilers are offsides right away. I'm going to have some tacos if no one minds. Oh, Tanev with a chance. No. That was so close. I want to see Tanev score so bad. Oh! Shan to Tanev almost got, I think that was Borgen in front of the net. Oh, that was a close one. Couple of good chances right out of the gate here from the Kraken. Oh, Tanev has an A. That's definitely an A on Tanev's jersey. Oh! Tanev almost caught Smith sleeping on it. So yeah, shots on goal are pretty even, 12 to 13. 12 shots on goal for the Kraken, 13 for the Oilers. The Oilers have just, sorry, got the hiccups all of a sudden. Oilers have just had better chances. Got the hiccups. Kong, not honk. I don't know what you heard yet. It is Kong. So the next two games, Flames tomorrow night, and then Oilers in 3 days, are both on Kong. And then, my goodness. And then the game on Saturday will be on King. Now I gotta figure out how to get these hiccups. Get rid of these hiccups. Ooh, nice move by Torinsky. Chipped it past. I don't know who that was. He chipped it past. Got past a couple of guys and into the corner. I think the hiccups are gone. We're hoping. I don't know what you guys try when you have the hiccups. Holding the breath always seems to work for me. Doesn't make for the most interesting content, but gotta get rid of the hiccups. Ooh, Borgen getting a little chippy there. Little bit of a cross check, but they'll let that slide every time. More beers why I used to get rid of the hiccups. Hear that. Got the, I know someone will ask, so we got the Fremont Dark Star tonight. I tried to find Sky Kraken, but they didn't have it at the Safeway I went to, so found another Fremont beer with another mythical being on it, so close enough, right? And it's starting to cool down outside, so we can start to have stouts again, which is always good. How did I get here? I don't know, Oilers, man. How did you get here? I can tell you how the Oilers got to 3-0. It's a lot of having most of your top players out there against about half of the Kraken's AHL team, but it's not just that though. They did get oh, nice stop, Drieger. Woo! Drieger saw that coming and got in front of it. That was a nice stop. So who is this? So that's Hyman gets in there. So Hyman kind of shovels it out. Then McDavid shoots it right out to Puljujärvi, and Drieger was ready for it. Cleared all the way down. Tanev back there. Appleton. Oh, gets past Appleton and out. Back in, but they got to get on sides. Yeah, so Drieger kind of missed that one that ended up being the first goal. It was one that, I mean, it's not like it was an easy save by any means, but definitely one he could have got a pat on. But he's had a couple of nice stops since then, so yeah, I wouldn't put. I think one of the goals you can kind of put on Drieger, even if the defense in front of him could have been better, that being the first one. But the last two is a 5-on-3 power play. That's hard to put on him too much, and then just a nice pass from McDavid to guy pickpocketing beside him, which again, that's going to be hard to stop when there's nobody there defending it. Who's the Kraken's AHL affiliate? Yeah, so it's going to be the Palm Springs something. They don't have a name yet. Palm Springs, whatever you McCollums. Maybe they go with the girl dog pigeons, if you will. Probably not. But yeah, Palm Springs will be their affiliate next year. But they had some issues with the arena, and so their arena location, so they couldn't start construction when they wanted to. So it got delayed by a year. So for this first year, they'll be sharing with the Charlotte Checkers, who's the AHL affiliate of the Florida Panthers. So I want to say it's 12 players they can have with the Charlotte Checkers. And if they end up going over that, then they'll find other places to put other guys. They're trying to keep it as much with one team as they could. So at least for now, it'll be Charlotte Checkers unless they pick up a few more guys that they have to stick in the AHL, and then they might find another place for a few more guys. But just 1 year of that, and then they'll have their own affiliate after the first season down in Palm Springs with a name yet to be determined. I'm stuck here. There's no other streams. Well, I'm glad you're stuck here. Where else would you want to be stuck? I guess the hockey guy always does streams quite a bit, but there's all sorts of other things going on. I'm sure he probably making a video as we speak. He always is. I think Geeky is the best young player right now. I'm assuming that's what you meant there. Youngin. Oh, Youngin. Yeah, he looked good in the first game. I mean, I would say we haven't seen a lot from anything like that super stands out this game from him, but we haven't seen a lot that super stands out from a ton of guys on the Kraken roster right now. Lauzon's looked pretty good defensively, I will say that. Donato had a couple of good shots on one of the two power plays. The first power play the Kraken had. Second power play didn't go anywhere. That's probably still the most disappointing thing about this night was that second power play. Not the second power play unit. They had a second power play chance that they really just didn't get anything going until the last 10 seconds. Don't tell him that, Nate. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I don't know. The only stream I know about on all of YouTube is mine right now, regardless of what you want. Got a couple of friends that are Oilers fans. So. Here we go. Who's that? So they got their first defensive pair out there. Who's the forward group? It's not the first group. There we go. Gets the puck out. 3-on-3. And right back with McDavid. Oof. There you go, Drieger. Way to close off that side. Stops another shot from... Oh, yeah. That's... Yeah, True's another... I don't want to say younger. I mean, he's kind of hoping he eventually gets up to the NHL level. Oh, nice pass. Oh, Tanev couldn't quite pull it in. Cheyenne scored the first goal in Kraken history, at least in the preseason. Vegas just scored against the Avs. Tanev's looked pretty good so far. He created a couple of real nice chances back to back towards the end of the first period. Oh, Appleton left it behind. Tanev goes for it. And cleared out. That'll be not... icing. There we go. Okay. I was going to say, is that not icing? Which means they can't change. I think the Oilers were trying to change there, but they iced it, so no changing. Is Eberle playing tonight? No, he is not. Not seen him out there. Yeah, it looks like that entire first line got the night off. They'll be, I'm sure, back at it in Calgary tomorrow. That was a good chance. Here we go, Geeky. Oh, it's Carrick. Okay, Connor Carrick's 58. I keep seeing 58 out there, and I was like, who's that guy? Another one of the younger guys we'll probably see more in the AHL than in Seattle this first year. Borgen's looked pretty good. Oh, nice stop. Oh, Woo! Someone tried to roll up on Borgen there, and he had taken none of it. Put his shoulder right into him. I've liked what I've seen of Borgen so far. This Borgen-Lauzon defensive pairing has been pretty good so far. It's probably the highlight of the night, honestly, so far as those two. I'm surprised the Kraken haven't traded any of their defensemen. We have so many defensemen under contract right now. Yeah, it's something that they're definitely going to address. I remember, so that was something that Ron Francis has been asked about a couple of times, and basically his response was that they were going to get to training camp in a couple of these preseason games and kind of see where some of these guys were at, who kind of was starting to mesh with the team better, some of that stuff, and then start trading guys away. So Yeah, we weren't really expecting to see, because of that, I don't think we were expecting to see trades maybe early on during the off season there, but I'd imagine kind of in the next, I mean, obviously the 12th is coming up pretty, so we got kind of just about 2 weeks till the first game. So I'd imagine Ron's going to be on the phone quite a bit trying to move a couple of those guys. So far, I hope it's not Borgen. I think it'll. I think the most likely one guy that'll move is probably Susie, and then maybe Hayden Fleury's another guy. Although maybe they can get him through waivers and down to the AHL. But I think Susie's the one that I probably most expect to end up see getting traded eventually. The goat says, "What's your game time?" I'll let you know. I'll let you know as soon as it starts up here again. The goat. Yeah, I know. I'm definitely gonna have a little bit of a delay. Um, the stream I'm on definitely is gonna have a bit of a delay, and then uh, the streaming. So YouTube streaming has like a, I don't know what this is, like 30 second delay. So when I'm talking, it doesn't actually come through until like 30 seconds later. Let's see. So we just got back from commercial and 11:05. So right 11 minutes, like right now, is what I'm at right now in the game. 11 minutes in the second period, obviously. But again, there's going to be a bit of a delay. So I said that it'll be probably 10:30 by the time you actually heard me say 11 minutes. Yeah, we haven't seen Cale Fleury yet. Yeah, Cale Fleury. I didn't see him in practice either. I'm sure he was there. He's obviously been in camp, but Cale will be starting with the AHL team. I think that's pretty much a guarantee. Hayden's the one that we'll see. Obviously, we got two Fleury brothers, so Hayden's the older one. They pulled in from, I want to say he was from Anaheim, if I remember right. Maybe he was LA. Can't remember. And then Cale came from Montreal in the expansion draft. Both of them came from the expansion draft, but yeah, Cale's the younger one, and he'll be an AHLer, I think, pretty much from the start. They don't have to put him through waivers or anything like that. Hayden, they would have to get through waivers to get him to the AHL, so they could end up trying to trade him if they're going to put him on waivers anyway, but we'll see. Obviously, for the sake of the story, it would be fun to see both of them eventually make it up to an NHL roster and have a defensive pairing of brothers. That'd be pretty fun. Which we could get a chance with the Jones brothers in Chicago, both Caleb Jones and Seth Jones in Chicago. Hayden Fleury was from Anaheim, yeah, and Cale's from Montreal. So I was right the first time. Yeah, I knew Cale was from Montreal because that was the whole, like, a bunch of people wanted Seattle to take Carey Price, which obviously in hindsight it was a good thing they didn't, because they got, I mean, Drieger will be good, but like getting Grubauer and Drieger, like that Carey Price contract would have just been a brick, especially in free agency. Like if they take Carey Price, for one, they don't, like, they would have Price instead of Grubauer. They would never have gotten Grubauer. And then maybe you don't get another, like maybe they don't get Jaden Schwartz. Yeah, they probably don't, like another one of the free agents they probably don't get. What's Donskoy's best trader role? Well, early on in the first game, he was kind of the best with the puck. Puck handling was going pretty well there. Yeah, he's good with the puck, strong skater. I mean, he played well for Colorado. Obviously not well enough to get protected, but that's a pretty deep roster. Oh, looks like they're making a change here. Mikko Hoskinen in for Edmonton. Be interesting to see if they get Decord in here for the Kraken. But for Seattle, Donskoy he'll be I think kind of one of their better playmakers. He's definitely one of the better forwards they have, at least in my opinion anyway. See how that ends up playing out. Obviously, like a lot of how good a player plays as a forward is also down to who they're playing with and their chemistry as a group. But skill wise, Donskoy should be one of their better forwards. I think to me, there's some worry that Donskoy was able to play as well as he was over the last couple of years because he was with Colorado, which is one of the better teams in the NHL. But I don't know. Oh, not a good look from Lind there. Kind of bobbled it a little bit, and then the pass back, and then he just missed the pass right back to him. So it was. And there's the penalty. Holding on Nugent Hopkins, I think. I think that's 56. Oh, that's Yamamoto. Yamamoto does not seem overly impressed with that penalty call. Maybe a little ticky-tacky, but it's preseason, so it's not like it matters too much. And we'll get to see the third chance for the Kraken power play, which has had mixed results so far. Obviously, no goals, but their first power play, they got some chances. The second one, really nothing happened. So let's see how this goes for the Kraken power play. Oh! If Appleton can just lift that a little bit more. Oh! Big hit. I didn't see who that was. Yeah, they're Edmonton's killing this one pretty well, pretty good as well. So this seems like the first unit they rolled out the first time with Vince Dunn, Geeky, Yarncroak, Donato. Johansson's there. Oh! Oh, Riker Evans is back there. Oh! Yeah, they're trying to set up Donato there for the shot. You can tell that was kind of what they're trying to get Donato in open lane. Eventually got it, but oh, Johansson has an A as well. That's interesting. All sorts of assisting captains. Yeah, just got a stick on it. That was a good chance though. Yet you can tell they like Donato. You can they like Donato as the trigger man on the power play there. Which that was kind of the thing with Donato is everyone like he's kind of has the reputation of a guy that has a good shot. He just hasn't been able to really get in many positions, and kind of skating has kind of been an issue for him, so he hasn't been able to really get in any positions to utilize that shot in his previous time with Boston, and then who else was he with? Was it Boston? I'm spacing on who he was with, but and we're back to full strength after a shorthanded shot. Oh, Johansson, nice pass to Geeky. Geeky, nice pass. Oh, Riker Evans. He had an opportunity and just kind of left the puck behind when he tried to go to shoot it. Back to the first line for the Oilers. Second period definitely going better than the first, especially on the scoreboard. Tanev, nice fighting. Borgen shoots it on goal. Oh, Bastian goes around. No, they closed that off pretty well. See, that's how you want to close it off, which the Kraken did not really do on the second or third goal. Obviously, the second goal is a 5-on-3, so there's only so much you can do. But Borgen's shot blocked. That was on Draisaitl with it, so this is the second line from Edmonton. So looks like Drieger's going to at least get the full first two periods. See if they put in Decord for the third. This is definitely a better... This period's looking a lot better. Geeky, though, again, yeah, Geeky, that was... I mean, that's kind of the first look. He's had a couple of... You know, he's had the puck a couple of times. That was definitely the best look Geeky's had there. And definitely, he made that whole kind of series there happen for the Kraken. Yeah, I would say kind of the... Tanev's looked really good so far. Geeky definitely looked good right there. And obviously, Geeky had a really good first game. I still think Will Borgen's probably been one of the more impressive players to me so far, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Borgen-Lauzon pairing looks pretty good. Good shift, Kraken. Yeah, went well. 3/4 of the way through the second period, and they haven't let up another goal yet. Still yet to get on the board. Let's see. Polo. What did Polo say? Best player on the Kraken's opinion. Yeah, I mean it will be Yanni Gourde as soon as he's healthy. Right now, it's hard to say. It probably is Grubauer. I think is probably the best player on the. Oh, actually, I would say probably Mark Giordano. But the thing that'll be interesting with the Kraken, and this is the same thing that happened with Vegas, is that you know, there's, as far as who right now, like honestly, Donskoy I think is one of the best players they have, like potential coming in, and what he's done so far. But there's going to be a couple of guys on this team, especially if they're going to make a push for the playoffs. There's going to be a couple of guys on this team that just have like seasons that are well beyond what they've done at any point in their career so far, just because like the nature of this team is that they're going to have guys getting much more ice time than they had with their previous teams, especially in the forward groups. So I mean, that's again what we saw with Vegas, like Carlson and a couple of those other guys that had like more than double the number of points they'd had in any other season to that point in their career, and that's kind of what we, I think, should expect. So we probably won't know who the best players on the Kraken are until halfway through the season. Though Yanni Gourde is definitely, like, coming into the year, Yanni Gourde is definitely the best on the roster. He just won't be healthy until late November. Grubauer equals best potential. Gio, best career so far. Yeah, it's hard to argue with that. Obviously, like, as far as skaters are concerned and potential, I mean, Donskoy I think has potential, but Appleton's a guy I think has a ton of potential. Geeky almost got the rebound in. I'm pretty sure that was Geeky. Yeah, Geeky's a guy that has... Oh, shoot. Pretty much a 2-on-1 there. And Drieger has to pick somewhere to defend, and they just back and forth until it's in. Perlini, that's not who you want to see scoring. See what happens here. So it kind of... Alexiak goes for the hit, and then it's, yeah, 2-on-1. 2-on-1 with Connor Carrick. That's not... Yeah. Yeah, you might... I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you do there. You might like to see Drieger kind of shade more towards the guy that Carrick isn't covering, but that's... 2-on-1s aren't ideal for a reason. And Forsland pointing out there that shots are still even. It's just that the 4 have gotten past Drieger and nothing's gotten past the Oilers tandem. Although that being said, the Oilers, the 22 shots for the Oilers, they've had a lot more chances that are like a lot more better chances than the Kraken have had. I know it's maybe not the perfect English, but a lot more of those grade A chances, as they say, than the Kraken have had. And like, to Drieger's credit, he's had a couple of very nice saves, and yeah, I mean, that one you just kind of, you have to make a decision and go with it, and he tried to get back for the second pass and wasn't able to. The second and third goals in particular were not really Drieger's fault in any way. Here's Draisaitl, so second line for the Oilers. Yamamoto crosses it for no one. Appleton to the boards, manages to get it out. Who is this? That was Lauzon. Lauzon still looking good, is able to kind of get that puck back into the offensive zone through 2 guys. Appleton, nice pass. Doesn't go anywhere. Lauzon gets it blocked. Oh! Just a bouncing puck. That was a nice try. Johansson tried to pass it out to Lauzon, but bouncing a little bit too much for Lauzon to handle. Alexiak passes it back. Pass it back to Geeky. Can't handle it. It's not a well-placed pass. Try to get it across to him. That's a hard one for Geeky to come up with. So here's Vince Dunn. Out to Geeky. Is this really real? High quality shots. Yeah, we'll go with that. So yes, it is 4-0 Oilers. I will say the lineups, just by looking at the lineups, it's heavily in Oilers favored skill wise lineups. Kraken are rolling out a lot of guys with less. A lot of their younger guys. A lot of guys will be in the AHL this year. So the Kraken, it's not quite like how the Canucks looked in the first game as far as the lineup is concerned, but it's definitely a pretty AHL heavy lineup. Now we got a penalty here. Oh. Lauzon got called for throwing the puck. Yeah, I don't know. It's might be the right call, but ooh, yeah. Drieger makes a good stop, but it just rebounds right to McDavid. 5-0 Oilers. Yeah, I mean it like you said, best power play unit in the NHL, and they're against. Let's see who they have out there. Tanev's out there. It's like Tanev, Shahan, and some AHLers against Drieger, Draisaitl, and oh, I guess Alexiak was out there as well. Yeah, Tate just wants a goal. Me too, Tate. Yeah, the Kraken are just having a hard time controlling the puck for very long. Hard time controlling the puck for very long. Oh no, that's not a good pass. Who was that? Mm, yeah, so like they're talking about there, this is definitely not their best lineup for the Kraken. They play a back to back with Calgary tomorrow night, so a lot of the younger guys, a lot of the less experienced guys that won't be on the opening day roster. And Edmonton unfortunately gets 2 goals late to make it 5-0 as the second period comes to an end. They definitely did look better in the second period, and yeah, like they're talking about now, that's you can't go into the box against Edmonton. Obviously, like you guys have been talking about in the chat, this is still preseason. The score doesn't really matter a whole ton. You just kind of want to see, you kind of want to just see guys working together well and getting kind of developing some of that chemistry that you want to see from a team that spent more time together than these guys have. Which you're definitely seeing from Edmonton. There's a lot more of those passes to a lot more of those crisp passing, that kind of stuff, which haven't seen a ton of from the Kraken tonight, unlike what we saw in the Canucks game. The Canucks game was just like stick to stick, constantly tape to tape. Not so much for the Kraken this game as far as that's concerned, but that's part of having a lot of younger guys out there against what is Edmonton's top six. And shots are still pretty close to even. Obviously, like shot quality is definitely an important thing, but it's not like they're getting. It's not like they're not getting some opportunities, even if they aren't the most high quality or the best opportunities they could get. But too bad we're going 81-1. Well, it's still preseason, so it doesn't even matter if they lose this. There's 6 games here that won't go on the record as soon as October 12th hits. Everyone's 0-0 with no points. So yeah, obviously, like, once they play the Oilers for real in the regular season, the lineup is going to look very different for the Kraken than what's out there right now. So it'll just be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see if they keep Drieger out there or if they put in Decord. It kind of. I mean, I don't know. Like, again, it's preseason, so I don't know how much in the head it gets, but I don't know if you want to leave. How long you want to leave Drieger out there. I mean, this is probably good. I mean, as good a practice as he can get for. He's getting a lot of chances to see good shots and make some saves on some of the best forwards in the game with that top six from Edmonton. So maybe you just leave him in there and let him get that experience, especially with the Kraken not really having the ability to put up the defense that you would normally be able to put up. So you gonna watch the M's game after this? I suppose I could probably put it on, whatever's left of it. Let's see how they're doing. That's a good point. I was gonna keep up with that, but yeah, they're Mariners are making it happen. Let's see where this game is at. So Mariners game is still 0-0 at the bottom of the second. 1 out, runner on first for Jake Fraley up to bat. Yeah, the Mariners could they're definitely within a fighting chance. Of course, like the one series you wanted to see the Red Sox. Oh, that's annoying. Oh, there we go. Sorry, there the feed cut out and they went to that annoying high-pitched tone. I don't know if that came through the mic much at all, but yeah, the Mariners are within a game and a half of the second wild card spot. Could happen. Could happen. Yankees have, so the Red Sox kind of have a couple of bad teams. The Red Sox have the Orioles for 3 and then the Nationals for 3, so it's not ideal as you're trying to catch them. And then the Yankees, who they're 2.5 behind, do have Toronto, who they're trying to also catch for 3, and then the Rays for 3, which the Rays already have the division locked up, so I don't know how that might not be the best Rays lineup that they'll be putting out, but hey, it's a meaningful last week of baseball for the Mariners, which is the more than we can say for most of the last 2 decades. So I don't believe Blackwell is signed yet. Is that true? Let's find out. Because, yeah, Blackwell's another guy that we didn't see in the first game and haven't seen yet in this one either. Colin Blackwell's signed. Yeah. Yeah, we just haven't seen him yet. Yeah, he's got 1 year at $725. And then he'll be a UFA at the end of the season. So, yeah, he's rostered. Just haven't seen him out there yet. I'd imagine we probably see him tomorrow night. I think it's obvious, like, they've got a much bigger roster than what they're actually going to have come the regular season, so they can afford to, like, they have the back-to-back tonight and tomorrow night, and then a day off, and then another back-to-back, so yeah, there's going to be a lot of changing around going on, a lot of different lineups out there, so we'll probably see Blackwell tomorrow night, and then really the only guys we aren't really getting a chance to see that will be playing in Seattle at some point this year is Wenberg, because as they mentioned, he just had his first kid. So Wenberg's on parental leave for, I don't know how much of the preseason, but maybe the whole preseason. I would imagine maybe he comes back for the Canucks game, or maybe the 2 home games. Maybe, yeah, he could come back for Friday, Saturday, those 2 home ones, but yeah, we haven't seen Wenberg, and then obviously we haven't seen Yanni Gourde, who we won't see until mid to late November. But yeah, Blackwell's signed. The Red Sox lost to the O's? I haven't seen that. Oh, they sure did. Oh, and the Yankees are putting a beat down on the Jays right now. Well, that's big. Yeah, so it's kind of weird. You wanted to see the Yankees lose to people because they had the toughest schedule, but doesn't matter what the schedule is, you still got to win the games. And if the Red Sox are going to lose to the Orioles or maybe the Nationals, then take it. Let the Yankees beat up on the Blue Jays. The Mariners do take care of their business, and all they got to do is catch the Red Sox by another half game. This is something to be proud of regardless this year. Yeah, like, the Pacific Division is terrible outside of the Oilers who they're playing right now. Like, this again is probably the second. I think it's safe to say this is the second best team in the division, with Vegas being the best team, at least coming into the season. Vegas 2-1 over Colorado. Again, it's preseason, so scores are hard to read too much into, but yeah, Vegas is the best team in the division coming into the season here. Edmonton's, I think, pretty clearly the second best, and then there's a few teams that could slot into that third spot pretty easily. You can make an argument for Calgary, Seattle, if you really try hard, San Jose. LA seems like they're up and coming, so maybe they, build off of the momentum that they kind of built last year. I think the Ducks are pretty locked into being bad. So Ducks, I think you can pretty much count out. LA, I think it's kind of an outside chance. There's also the Canucks. Canucks obviously had a pretty rough last year, so they'd have to have a bounce back. But yeah, it's kind of I would say a four-way battle for that third spot. And either way, like, it's, even if we don't end up with the playoffs the first year, which I still think the Kraken do end up in the playoffs, so I think they get that third spot. Even if they don't, we have the NHL in Seattle, and they've got a good place to start. And even if this year is a golden opportunity as far as like how the rest of the division is looking, Vegas is going to start having cap troubles in a couple of years, which, like, they're still a good team, so I wouldn't think too much of it. Oilers probably aren't going anywhere as long as they can hold on to Draisaitl and McDavid, which I don't, at this point I don't see why they wouldn't be able to. They'll be a tough out, at least in the regular season. Playoffs is a different thing, but we're talking about getting to the playoffs. And both Vancouver and Calgary, it's really hard to tell where the trajectory of those two teams is right now. Like, both of them, it seems like they should, like, with the kind of the talent being younger on both of those teams, it seems like they should be moving up as time goes on, but it's been a weird offseason for both of those teams, and last couple of seasons have been kind of disappointing for Calgary, and last season was very disappointing for the Canucks. So those two are kind of wild cards, and then it does seem like LA is getting better, and eventually Edmonton will get better. San Jose is in a weird place. It seems like they're probably due for a rebuild and looking like they're going to be heading that way, and they're just kind of like not admitting it to themselves yet, but we'll see. Let's see, Vegas 1, Oilers 2, Canucks 3, Kraken 4, Flames 5. Yeah, I mean, if the Canucks have the forward talent that you would think they should be able to get there, it's just kind of, and obviously if Demko can bounce back in goal, then the talent's there for Vancouver. It's just figuring out how to put it all together, which they very clearly were not able to do last season, which obviously last year was a weird year with it being short and COVID bubbles and all that stuff. So it's hard to read too much into last season and what happened, but it's closest thing we have to go off of, and it still was, even for being a weird kind of off season, it was really not good for Vancouver. My wife and I saw the Rolling Stones at the Kingdom in the 1981. Oh wow. I never seen the Rolling Stones live, so I like their music. I don't know. I like their recordings. I loved the Kingdom. I mean, obviously, like, the Kingdom, it was time for the Kingdom to go when it did, but yeah, I grew up going to Mariners and Seahawks games, but a lot of Mariners games in the Kingdom. Good memories in that building. watching Griffey. No, you could get banned if you show the game. Yeah, I'm not showing the game. I don't know if you can hear it in the background. Hopefully you can't hear it too much. I guess I can turn it down a little bit if you guys can hear it. Yeah, I can't show the game. Just gotta stream it. Copyrights and all that. Hey, Kevin was there too. I was not alive in 1981. Still had just about a decade till that was going to happen. I show games all the time. Haven't. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just a risk. I'm not like. Obviously, like they have to catch it, and then there's a whole like. There's a whole process to all that stuff, but it's just not worth the risk. Um, Even like for those of you who are familiar with my channel and my videos, like I don't put game footage in any of my videos, and maybe I might start doing that eventually. But kind of so like from like people I've talked to, like I've um, been fortunate enough to like kind of have a little bit back and forth with like Urinating Tree, who's a big sports YouTuber, and a couple of other people who are kind of have said like if you want to show game clips you can. It just means that you basically forfeit all of the ad revenue, which right now that's all I have to go off of as far as like trying to spruce things up, like just kind of putting what money I make back into the channel. So at least for this first couple of years here, probably won't be a lot of game clips, but we might add those in down the road. Yeah, it's just kind of like with copyrights, it's just kind of a tricky little minefield that I'm just don't really have the time, energy, or know-how at the moment to fight that battle. So I'm just gonna play it safe and avoid showing any live action, which I know doesn't make the most interesting experience. But you know, these kind of streams, we're gonna do these kind of streams throughout the season, at least once a month. We'll see where it goes from there, but we're gonna do a stream like this at least once a month during the regular season, for games, and it'll be kind of a watch along thing where you guys can pull it up wherever you're at, and then kind of like the COVID version of watching it together, if you will. I was 18 years old in 1970. I was not. I was negative 20-ish years old in 1970, if that's a thing. The hockey guy doesn't show clips either, yeah. Yeah, the hockey guy sticks to his own thing. He also's... There's all sorts of different ways to make money on YouTube. Obviously, it all requires an awesome audience like you guys to make that happen, and I don't really make much of anything right now, but make enough to like I basically have been making enough over the last couple of months to like pay for YouTube TV. Which isn't nothing, you know, it's still nice. Boom, just followed you on Twitter. Excellent. You'll get some good, mostly Kraken on Twitter. I'm trying to keep it mostly Kraken true to the channel, but get some good venting about the Seahawks and Mariners as well. Although I will say I'm a little bit more optimistic than most people in general. I think when it comes to sport, like Seattle sports, which isn't always easy, the Seahawks have not gotten off to a great start. But it's 3 weeks into the season. Most of like, especially Seahawks Twitter seems to like way overreact to everything. So like it's week 3 right now. They just had one of the worst losses they've had in like a decade, but everyone's just like basically assuming at this point that Russell Wilson, this is his last year as a Seahawk because of how bad they've started. It's 3 weeks in. Give it a chance. All right, here comes Joey Decord. Yep, he's getting the third period going to Decord. That's awesome. Yeah, we kind of figured that was going to happen. Get Decord sometime, and Decord will be with the Checkers. He'll be one of the Checkers goalies, probably. I would imagine he's not going to be playing for the Kraken unless somebody gets hurt. He will be the guy up. Like if either Grubauer or Drieger go down, then the other one probably assumes a full-time starting role, and then Decord becomes the backup. But when did you start watching hockey? Pretty early on. I don't know. I've always watched hockey here and there, like growing up. I wouldn't say that I was like a diehard fan of hockey until relatively recently. Probably like last 5 years or so. I really kind of, for whatever reason, attached myself to the Avalanche. Kind of 5 years ago, even though they were terrible at that time. Kind of watched them for the last few years, and then obviously as soon as Seattle got announced as having an NHL team, then I was just head and shoulders, like I've been waiting for my entire almost 30-year life so far to have a hockey team of my own in Seattle. As a kid, I kind of cheered for the Canucks here and there, but 2011 kind of turned me off of that. Not so much because of what the Canucks did, but more the reaction Vancouver had to what happened to the Canucks. Like I was a big fan of Luongo and the Sedins, and obviously like Vancouver still loved the Sedins, but like the fans kind of chased Luongo out of there, which I wasn't a huge fan of. So yeah, I kind of gave up on the Canucks after that run. Still cheered for the Sedins because I still liked them, but yeah, I've been waiting a long time to, as most people in Seattle have been waiting a long time to have a team of our own. Because like even with like cheering for the Avalanche is like for the last few years, like I have, like it's definitely the team I cheered for and the team that I wanted to win the most and would, pull for over anybody else. But it still didn't really feel like my own team. Like it didn't feel like cheering for the Seahawks or the Mariners. Like it definitely felt like being like kind of adopted into a team, sort of. So yeah, I couldn't be more excited for the Kraken. Are any Sharks fans in the house? Wouldn't be surprised if there are. There's a lot of Sharks, a lot of either Sharks fans or ex-Sharks fans in the Kraken fan base, because that was the closest U.S. team to Seattle for a very long time. Obviously, Vancouver is the closest team, but they're across the border, so not quite as many. Ooh, nice shot. Alexiak back. Oh, Koskinen gloves that one. Couple of good chances there early. Like the Kraken have had a couple of those like spurts where they get a couple of shots back, like back to back. Yeah, they get a couple like little spurts there where they get a couple shots back to back, but just haven't been able to find the back of the net with any of them yet, or even really anything past the red line. You don't actually have to hit the back of the net; just get it past that red line. But back of the net, as the saying goes. Marcus Johansson. Jordan Eberle now plays for the Kraken. He sure does. Not tonight, but sure does play for him. One of the more popular jerseys I've seen around. Yeah, Alexiak not letting Draisaitl have anything there. Oh, good stop by Decord on Yamamoto. Ooh, Twarynski got past another guy. Twarynski's definitely been able to get past a couple of guys with the puck. Not necessarily the most solid defensively, but he's definitely good getting the puck up ice. So far in this game, I mean, not in general. Haven't seen a lot of Twarynski play, if we're being brutally honest. Yeah, that cup was bad because I strongly disliked both teams, Bruins and Canucks. Talking about that 2011 one. Yeah, at that point I was definitely I would say I was a Canucks fan at that point during that cup, and I definitely like even before Boston sports kind of like took over for like a decade there. I never really liked Boston. I shouldn't say that. There was a period where I liked the Red Sox because they were the Yankees' biggest rival. Oh shoot. And it is 6-0 Oilers. Shot goes right past the right pad or left pad of Decord. Yeah, that's when you want to stop. Yeah, it's off the face off and he's trying to track it, but let's see if he's. Yeah, I don't know. Like he. See if he's. Yeah, it might have been kind of Carrick and whoever that was for Edmonton in front. May have been a little bit kind of shield blocking Decord there, but that's one you want to have. Again, Decord hopefully will not be getting a lot of time with the big club this year. And I say that not because I don't trust Decord eventually. Well, I mean, to some extent, but more just because if Decord's playing for the Kraken to any extent really this season, that means something happened to either Grubauer or Drieger, which that's part of the strength of this team. So hopefully that does not happen. Decord sure has a sweet mask. Yeah, all of the masks look really nice, honestly. If I had to rank the masks, I would say Drieger, Decord, then Grubauer, but pads wise, Drieger obviously wins the pads. Those Drieger's pads are pretty sick. The Oilers have humiliated the Kraken in an exhibition game. Big deal. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, you know, there's a lot of the Kraken fan base that is going to be somewhat new to the game, or at least like coming back to hockey maybe for the first time in a while. So you're going to see 6-0 and be like, oh great. But you know, the scoreboard does really isn't telling the story of this game, I don't think. um Not that the Oilers haven't looked better, they absolutely have, but definitely part of the story here is the difference in the lineups. Kraken much younger and less experienced in general, while the Oilers have, you know, their top six forwards and their top defensive pairing playing the whole game and playing like a lot of minutes too, especially in the first two periods. We saw a lot of McDavid and Draisaitl line, especially the McDavid line. We saw a lot of that line in the first couple periods. Oh, yeah, that's the like just so that play kind of like that's a lot of what the Kraken have been. They've been able to like skate up into the Oilers zone, but then as soon as they get into the Oilers zone, that they've been able to shut it down. And here's a McDavid line again. So this is, yeah, Edmonton's first line versus definitely not the Kraken's first. I mean, maybe it's their first line tonight. I can't. It's definitely Lauzon and Borgen. This is the first defensive pairing. And you got Geeky out there, which is part of the first line they rolled out. But then there's Cole Lind is out there and Johansson, Marcus Johansson. Yeah, that's no. I would like Geeky maybe get some chances on the first line eventually, but I would be pretty surprised if we see Marcus Johansson or Cole Lind. I mean, Cole Lind we might not even see in Seattle very much at all this season. So a little bit of a mismatch there. Good poke check by Decord. Yeah. Oh, there you go. So they're pointing it out right there. Yeah. Yeah, Decor just put that stick right out into McDavid trying to cross. I mean, that's something we've seen McDavid do who knows how many times, of just kind of puts his shoulder into whoever the defenseman is, skates around the goalie and puts it around him. Decord wasn't having any of it. Stuck his stick right out into it. I can't watch hockey on Sportsnet this season. I don't know. Don't know much about what. I think Sportsnet has hockey, but being in the States, we don't really get Sportsnet or TSN, so can't speak to that too much. Like, so we will get like rebroadcasts of them occasionally, like, but or like I shouldn't say rebroadcast, but like put on like CBC sometimes has them, that kind of stuff. But yeah, not a lot of the Canadian broadcasts in the States, so fortunately I cannot help you there. Lull and play here. I'm gonna have a little bite of the second taco. Tate says this definitely hasn't looked like a 6-0 blowout. Yeah, I mean the overall flow of the game it's definitely been tilted towards the Oilers, but yeah, I wouldn't. It hasn't looked like it hasn't been as obviously one-sided from like the general flow of play as the scoreboard looks. And shots wise, it's actually still pretty even, but the Oilers are definitely their shots are definitely more the high quality scoring chances. Yeah, I mean, in general, if I like put a score to what this game has looked like, it's probably looked like a like 3-0, 3-1 game in general. But you know, ultimately, that's like this is still something that it's the preseason. They're here to practice and keeping your head in a game that's out of hand like this one is something worth practicing. So it's all experience that's they can use for the better or not. So we'll say the Kraken, as someone pointed out earlier, definitely speed wise, it's very obviously there's an obvious difference speed wise, especially when either the McDavid or Draisaitl line are out there, which I mean isn't like a huge surprise. How Geeky kind of turned it over there and gets it back and got it taken away again. Taken away by McDavid though, so like as much as people have liked what they've seen from Geeky so far, he's not better than McDavid. And Colin got a stick in front of that shot from Darnell Nurse. Do I play fantasy hockey? Some. I will say, like, I like fantasy hockey, but I feel like fantasy hockey and fantasy baseball are just, and I mean, I haven't really played fantasy basketball, but it's kind of the same thing. It's just fantasy football is just, I think, like, I don't know. Fantasy football is just way more fun just because it, like, because of the setup of football where it's so, like, segmented with just, like, each week is a, it's just like perfectly built for it. Where like hockey is kind of hard, like hockey, baseball, basketball are all kind of hard with fantasy because you have to be checking your lineup every day rather than like once a week or whatever. So I still do play fantasy hockey, but not as gotta go. All right, LJ, see you next time, buddy. But yeah, I would say fantasy hockey. It's fun. I do play it some, but not like a diehard fantasy hockey player by any means. It's gonna be hard this season. I still haven't put a team together for this season, but it's gonna be hard to not just like homer pick a bunch of Krakens because of the first season. Like it's definitely not how I play. It's a little bit how I play fantasy baseball, but it's definitely not how I play fantasy football. The homer picks, but gotta have at least one or two Kraken on the team if I end up doing a fantasy hockey this year. Probably go with a defenseman, but all right, let's have a little more taco while we're waiting here. Good stop there by Decord. That's kind of what you wanted to see from that first shot that Drieger saw in the first period. Ooh, that was a close one. He almost didn't get the pad down in time. Just got that left pad down in time to stop that one. Oh, Morgan whiffed. No. I don't know how. Ooh, nice shot. Rebound. Doesn't get it. Ten minutes left in the third. Back to the Draisaitl line for the Oilers. Sent back in. No icing. Getting changes. Getting that line changed. Did Cham play for Buffalo last year? Yes. Yes, he did. Yup. That Buffalo team that made headlines. Definitely a Buffalo team that made headlines. Maybe not the best headlines, but they made headlines. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say Shan's one that we expect to see a whole ton of maybe this season, but he did get the first goal in franchise history in a game against another team. First one in that Canucks game. Let's see here. Do you know how long the Kraken have signed to be in Seattle for? I mean, they're in Seattle forever. Yeah, the teams don't really. I mean, ultimately, yeah, they have a deal, like they have a lease with Key Arena, or with Key Arena. They have a lease with Climate Pledge Arena that I don't know how long it is, like 5 or 10 years or something like that. But teams don't leave cities unless they're like wildly unsuccessful and usually have a rundown arena or field or whatever. Like the stadium that they play in is run down and the city doesn't want to build a new one, and they're not drawing fans. Like there's a lot of stuff that kind of has to come together for a team to move at all. So yeah, there's not the Kraken are in Seattle for good. I don't. Yeah, I would. I can't imagine them really moving for any reason ever. Especially as and I don't want like not to get too much into it, but especially as things continue to warm up, especially down south. Like, yeah, Seattle's gonna be a hockey city for a long time. I expect Blackwell to be in the line over Cheyenne though. Yeah, Blackwell's a pretty tough physical. I mean, that's kind of like the thing with this team is they're going to be kind of tough physical, even maybe in the top six more so than other teams. But Blackwell seems to me more like a second or third line guy. But yeah, he could be. I mean, I guess that's where Riley Cheyenne was on the fourth line. So, you know, Nathan Bastian laid a hit and see what the call is here. Interesting, kneeing. You don't see a lot of kneeing calls. Yeah, I don't know. Both going for the puck. It is the preseason. Like, it is the preseason, and they're definitely quite a bit more prone to call things in the preseason because they don't want it to get too out of hand. But that's a pretty iffy call there on that kneeing. Um, do you think the NHL will add any more teams or stay at 32 for a while? I think yeah, they'll stay at 32 for a while. I you know, we'll see how this next like 10, 15 years goes for the NHL. Especially now with new TV deals. Like they're back on ESPN, and say what you will about ESPN, they're much better at marketing the sports that they have a reason to market than NBC really did. And it's back to 5-on-3 for the Oilers. This will probably be 7-0 pretty soon. Yeah, Tanev. That's the that's the NHL cracking down on cross checking, and like he was saying, so Tanev kind of gives him a shoulder in the back, which is fine, but then he kind of came back and gave him a cross check in the back while he was down, and it wasn't like a particularly hard cross check, and it that's something that any year before this one probably would have been fine, but yeah, not. They're trying to crack down on cross checking finally and actually like call it the way. Finally, trying to call it the way it's written in the rule book this year, to some extent, and that's definitely the type of one we're probably gonna see a lot of cross checking penalties, especially early on this season. In general, in the NHL, not just with Seattle or anything like that. But yeah, the NHL will probably stay at 32 teams. I wouldn't like. They may eventually go past 32 just because you know they can they just the Kraken just paid the majority of $1 billion to get a team, and that's nice stop. Decord, good job getting over there. he was ready for that pass. But yeah, like obviously like the owners like money. Surprise, surprise. And expansion teams bring money, so it may go past 32 eventually, but it'll be quite a while, I think. It'll be interesting to see if the MLB goes to 32 soon, though. They've been the most hesitant to. I mean, MLB's most hesitant to do almost everything, but 5-on-3 for another 15 seconds. Let's see if the Kraken can hold it off. This has been a very, very solid penalty kill and a couple of good stops, especially that last one by Decord. He was ready for it too. Like he already had the glove like up in position, ready for that save before the shot was even taken. He's pretty much just shot it straight into the glove. Oh, Bastion on a breakaway. Oh, Shan got tripped up. That was a good try. Couldn't quite get to the puck before the net, so he had to try and pass it back to Cheyenne, who had someone on him. Back to 5-on-4 for 10 seconds, and then we're to 5-on-5. They'll get one last shot off. Decord stops it. It's up. This is the second power play unit now for Edmonton. We're back to 5-on-5 now. Spread out a little bit. We've got 3 guys on that guy in front of the net. Let's see what Alexiak's got the puck. Yeah, see, that's like, there's another example. It's just that the passing has not been nearly as crisp as it was in that first game. The first game, it was kind of like that, a lot of tape to tape stuff, and this game, it's been a lot sloppier passing wise. Oh, nice try there from. Oh, Geeky almost had that. Oh, that was a nice chance. That's the kind of opportunities that Edmonton's been getting all game, and the Kraken have had pretty few of them. They just haven't been getting past for the Kraken, where they have been for Edmonton. Kind of got a lull here. Let's check how the Mariners are doing. 1-0 Athletics in the bottom of the 4th with 1 out. Plenty of time for that game. It's Draisaitl pass. What a save. Did that hit the bar? I don't know if that was a bar or if he saved. He doesn't have his stick, so I assume it went off his stick. Decord with a heck of a save. My goodness. Still doesn't have his stick. They need to get that puck out so he can go get it. Kind of weird to see the Decorder, like a goalie standing there just without the stick. Just they're gonna next stoppage. We'll definitely get a look at that Decord save. Wow. I mean, I've heard a lot of positive things about Decord when the Kraken took him from Ottawa. Obviously, like, still probably a little bit of time in the AHL before he's, comes up to the NHL in any like large capacity, but he's looked good in the third period here. A couple of big saves. One that got past him that you might like to see him get a pad on, but. All right, here we go. Here's the. Oh! He threw his stick at it and got it. I don't know. I couldn't tell if that went off the post or not, but it either went off the post or his stick, and he just threw his stick at it. Yeah, I think that might have gone off the post. It didn't look like it hit the stick, but. Yeah, he just kind of like chucks the stick at it, and it either hit the handle of the stick after he threw it, or it hit the post. I think it hit the post, but Yeah. Hey, whatever keeps it out of the net, you know? Whatever keeps it out of the net. Definitely definitely an ingenuitive attempted save even if it did hit the post. All right. Commercial break time. Slowly getting through these tacos. Oh, yep, right off the post. Yeah, I don't know if it got the stick or not, but right off the post. Yeah, Everett on Friday against, I want to say that's the Flames again, and then Kent on Saturday, and then I'll be playing in Kent on Sunday. But please don't come to that because I'm not very good. Never saw myself ever watching hockey since I'm from New Orleans, but I bought a Kraken hat and a shirt yesterday. There you go. That's what I like to hear, Tristan. It's a fun game. Like it definitely, and I think it. NBC did a good job of covering games, but they really didn't do much to advertise the game. Um, Over the last 15 years or whatever it's been, that hockey's been basically like ESPN just ignores hockey or had just ignored hockey because I mean they didn't broadcast games, so they have no reason to really advertise something that they're not going to make any money off of. So which that's definitely part of it. Like Nathan Bastian and Tyler Benson have been going at it quite a bit this game. But yeah, hockey. I mean, it seems like a game that everyone that gives it a chance loves it. It's just people just aren't really interested in giving it that first chance for whatever reason. So good on you. Good on you for giving it a chance, Tristan, and hopefully you can get to a game eventually because it's. I think it's a really fun game to watch on TV, but it's much different in person. Like much is crazy in person. It's I don't know like a lot of people say it's the best sport to watch in person, but I don't know, I'm a little spoiled in Seattle getting to watch like Seahawks games just have crazy energy, so it's that does spoil it a little bit, but yeah, I'm excited to see what the NHL in Seattle looks like cuz that's a whole different thing. We'll see what that energy's like, but obviously it's way different than like the NFL with a big open massive stadium where like that it's like much more like basketball as far as a viewing experience is concerned because it's in that arena much more enclosed, more intimate I guess you could say, closer to the field, closer to the action and all that. But oh, Johansson, nice steal and almost got the shot off. That was a nice play by Johansson. Yeah, it's looking like this one might end 6-0. unless they get a seventh one here. Good stop there by Johansson again. Good shift for Johansson. That's definitely the best shift Johansson's had. Tanev back there on the forecheck. Oh, good. Appleton, nice. Wow, nice steal by Appleton. Stuck his skate out at, got a stick on it, got it to Tanev. Shot off by Lauzon. Lauzon keeps it in. Shoots it to the boards. Back and out. Appleton. Shot deflected. Not in. Tanev. Yeah, you would have liked to see one goal this game for the Kraken. Maybe I'll have to stream again during the preseason just to make sure it isn't me. And that will do it for the end. So it ends 6-0 Oilers. Yeah, it's a rough one. Rough one on the scoreboard. Really not as lopsided of a game as it looked on the scoreboard, though Edmonton clearly was the better team, not just by their lineup, but by their play. So yeah, it's preseason, so now we'll get a shootout, and it'll be, looks like Decord and Koskinen, I think, for the Oilers. My buddy wants to take me to a game in Vegas. Not a huge fan of Vegas, but definitely would like to see a game there. Yeah, from what I've heard about, I mean, from what we've heard about Vegas games, obviously having never been there myself for a game, sounds like a pretty sweet place to see a game. Signing out. See you later. Later, Kevin. Thanks for hanging out, joining and sticking around for not the best Kraken game ever, but you know, even if by against all odds they're the best team in the NHL next year, which is not likely, there's still going to be nights like this. Every team has nights like this, even without having half their team be AHLers. How about we win the shootout this time? Yeah, they won the game and lost the shootout last time, so why not lose the game and win the shootout? But here comes Connor McDavid. I don't know how good he is at shootouts. Shootouts are obviously, like, it's so different than the actual game, but yeah, McDavid misses. I think he actually had Decord beat there. He just missed the net. Matt Barzell is probably my favorite non-Kraken player. Good choice. Seattle Thunderbird. Oh, I think he had him on the other side. Should have tried to, like, shovel it in with the backhand there before that last move. So Donato got the first shot on the in the shootout again. They definitely like Donato with those shot attempts. All right, Decord stopped both McKinnon and Draisaitl. Decord gets stops on two heart winners. Again, just, I mean, obviously it doesn't necessarily mean they're amazing shootout, but they know what they're doing with the puck for sure. Johansson does not get it in. Let's see what the order was from last time. I have that somewhere. Kyler Yamamoto from Spokane. Oh, he hits the post. Good stuff. Sorry, I'm trying to find the... whoops. Oh, here it is. Yeah, so it was Donato, Eberle, Donskoy. And Donskoy and Eberle didn't play. Drieger. So here's Geeky. Shoots. Doesn't get it. Alright, we get more shootout. Not a problem. It's all for fun anyway, so we might as well get more of it. And here's Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Off the post! Got a pass to Cord, but off the post. And Fraley doubles in the fourth to make it 2-1 Mariners in the other game. So Mariners up 2-1 in the top of the fifth. Buffalo has a lot of games like this, yeah. Yeah, there's definitely more games like this. The more on the Buffalo end of things that you are, but you know, this Seattle roster, this game's Seattle roster is Barry puts it in. Yeah, today's Kraken roster looks a lot more like a Sabres roster with a lot of AHLers. So here comes Vince Dunn. Can he tie it up? No, and that's it. So the Kraken lose the shootout again. Nothing goes into the net for the Kraken tonight. That's too bad. It's all right. So they get some interesting. You know, it's preseason. None of this. Come October 12th and the start of the season, none of this matters. As long as nobody gets injured, none of this matters. All it tells them is maybe what lines maybe didn't work as well, because there was rough stuff going on there with the lines. Not passing wasn't quite there. Yeah, so they get to look at some different lines. They get to look at a lot of younger guys that'll probably spend a lot more of their time in Carolina this year than they will in Seattle. And by Carolina, I mean in Charlotte, not with the Hurricanes, with the Checkers. Yeah, so it's not the ideal outcome maybe you'd want to see, but I think when we saw the Edmonton lineup, we knew it was going to be a tough matchup for the Kraken, and then especially with them clearly sitting a lot of their top guys who will probably play tomorrow night. Oh, here we go. What do we got? Oh, it's a single for Murphy off the A's. Yeah, when we started to see the guys the Kraken were putting out there, it was clear this one probably wasn't going to go the Kraken's way. And again, I think it was a closer game than what it looked like out on the scoreboard. 6-0, obviously final score, but the Kraken got some decent chances. Oilers obviously with more, but it didn't feel like a blowout game. It was just kind of, I don't know. Though I don't want to say that it didn't seem like the Oilers weren't in control of it. They definitely seemed in control of this game all along. Just maybe not. They weren't like dominating it in a 6-0 fashion. Like that was definitely more the kind of score that. Honestly, the game the Kraken had against the Canucks felt a lot closer to what a 6-0 game would be than what this one was, where the Kraken were basically controlling play almost the entire game in that Canucks game. They just got a couple of weird bounces in the first period, got past Grubauer, and that made that game look closer than it really was. And then this game, the Oilers just got better chances and had better players, so it ends up looking a little bit more lopsided than I think it really was. But again, whether you want to be optimistic, like I probably am being a little optimistic about it, or if you want to be more glass half empty, that's fine too. It's either way. Again, this doesn't have any bearing on the season once it gets going. They could have lost 12-0 tonight, and as long as no one gets injured, it doesn't matter come October 12th. So thanks for streaming. Would love to see a set of NHL 102 videos. NHL 102. Behind the basics and talk about playmaking, strategy, etc. Yeah, I do want to do some of those. I'll probably you're right, that probably is more of 102 or maybe even like 201. But I'll probably just keep calling them 101 just because, it's what searches the best. If you gets the most clicks is 101. But yeah, that's definitely coming. The playmaking and the kind of playmaking strategy flow of the game, that is a video that I was actually hoping to get done back in August, but obviously with us having our first kid born in the middle of August, that kind of threw a wrench, and I also hurt my back and was pretty much in bed for like a week from a hockey game of all things. So yeah, I kind of got thrown off schedule there in August for a couple of different reasons. So that one's definitely coming. The 101 videos are probably going to be a bit slower coming out than they have been, just because we're now getting into the actual season. And I've got a couple of other things that I'm trying to get out before the season actually starts. But I think I'm going to aim for maybe like one of those a month, or maybe one every other month. So it's definitely going to be slower, but especially for this first season for the Kraken, I think it'll be good to keep getting those out. And yeah, playmaking strategy, that's definitely one that I'm going to be working on. Definitely love your hockey videos. Good. You have more of them. Definitely have more of those coming up. I'm still getting close to finishing editing one that is not hockey hardly at all, actually, but yeah, it's going to be mostly hockey for pretty much. If the Mariners make the playoffs, then we might get a little baseball thrown in there, but it's going to be mostly hockey, and mostly hockey with a Kraken focus for this foreseeable future, for sure. That sounds great. Anything for the algorithm. That's right. That hungry algorithm. All right, let's while we're chatting here, I'm going to see if I can switch this over, maybe watch some of the Mariners game, as they're currently up 2-1 on the A's. We'll stick talking about hockey for now, but just going to pull it up because I got the VPN up and running anyway. Might as well watch some Mariners while they're actually playing relevant baseball in late September. Don't see it too often, so you got to take advantage of it when it's there. All right, let's see. Oakland Mariners, that's what I want. I want Mariners broadcast, please. I'm glad this is on ESPN Plus. I gotta take it off mute. Yeah, so yeah, I mean we'll be doing more of these like game streams during the regular season. Like I said, I'm currently aiming for, we'll do at least one a month. Again, because hockey's hockey and there's no real like pattern to the schedule, or I mean not one that's easy to rely on. Won't really be able to say until like maybe like early on in the month. I'll give at least like a week's notice for each game that I'm going to stream, but we'll find some games one a month or so to stream, and might do more than that. Might do a couple a month. We'll see how it goes. Just sending you a comment to help the channel. Appreciate it, Joshua. Appreciate it. Or Josh, I don't know what you prefer. Would love to hear about the merch behind you. Yeah, so we got all sorts of stuff back there. Let's see. Pull out some of that. Let's see. We got like a lot of the stuff kind of, let's see, back in this area. Yeah, back in that area. A lot of that stuff is a lot of Mariners kind of like game day giveaways, like the Edgar Martinez sign there. That was a game day giveaway, a pretty cool one. This back here, that's a Edgar Martinez Hall of Fame like commemorative plaque that was from his Hall of Fame day game. So it was like, obviously he got inducted into the Hall of Fame and then came back. And, you know, pretty much fresh off of that, they had Edgar Martinez weekend, and his number was already retired. They retired his number the year before. But yeah, so that's what that's from. Both of those are from that weekend. I was actually at the game for the plaque, and then the sign I got from a family friend who didn't really have interest in it, but they're like, hey, if you want to go for it, so got that. Then we got a couple bobbleheads over here, like a Griffey one, and I guess it's not a bobblehead, but we got a Russell Wilson thing back there. Do have some Kraken stuff in the back. There's it's hard to kind of see with the glare, but there's a little puck case that has released the Kraken puck from their first launch of merch when they first announced the name about a year ago now, actually. And then official NHL puck, like the ones they'll actually use in games with a Ron Francis signature on it, is also in that case. So that's right here. Got a baseball back there from the 2001 Mariners season that has the like 116 wins and all that. Couple hats, like we got this hat. This is a Seahawks Super Bowl champions hat. It's got a Kenny Easley signed it. It happened to be wearing it at a game, and he was there signing things, so I got the brim of that one signed. Number 45, he's in the Hall of Fame with his number retired now. Kind of the original Earl Thomas, if you will. You should stream the first game. I am hoping to do that, yeah. I was a little bit on the fence. Like, I kind of wanted to just, like, enjoy that one without any distractions, and there's still a chance that might happen, but I think it's, you know, it's such a good opportunity, and I know you guys would probably love to have it, so we'll probably do a stream for that first game. I would say more likely than not. I'm not going to commit 100% to it just yet, but I would say it's more likely than not I'll be doing a similar to what we did tonight for that first game, Kraken in Vegas on the 12th. We'll see though. If I don't do that first game, I think I will almost certainly do. I'll do one of the first two. If it's not the first game, I'll certainly do the second one against Nashville. But yeah, we'll probably do the first game. I think this went pretty smoothly. I was kind of like, this was kind of, you know, it was preseason for the Kraken. It was also kind of preseason for me and testing out how this whole streaming thing. Obviously, I did the streams for the two drafts, but yeah, trying out the stream for games and give it a little test run as well. So preseason for everyone, and I think it went pretty well. Can you get there? Not quite. Still 2-1 Mariners in the bottom of the fifth now, because I can turn it off on my phone. Let's see if I can turn down the light. I don't know if that's better. Yeah, I'm gonna try and work on getting my recording, the camera that I do the videos with. I'm gonna try and work on getting that set up using a webcam right now. So it's obviously like maybe not the best video quality, but is what it is. Turn down the lights a little bit. Maybe that helps. Some other things. What else we have back here? We got Seahawks helmet. This is actually like a full-fledged Seahawks helmet. Can even like put it on. There we go. Talk about the Kraken watching the Mariners with a Seahawks helmet on. That sounds about right. Okay, this thing's really tight. Yeah, that thing's really tight, so I'm going to take that off. Got a big head, and it's not a big helmet. I mean, it's a normal-sized helmet. It's just not meant for people with bigger heads. Got some banners back here. This is not just like a vintage-looking banner. It's actually a vintage Seahawks banner. It's as old as it looks. And Seager flies out to left. 2 outs. Got a Mariners banner, and obviously the new Kraken one. And Boston lost to the Orioles. Someone mentioned that one earlier. Kraken flag over here. That one's pretty self-explanatory. All sorts of... go this way. All sorts of Mariners hats. Got one Kraken hat. I kind of want to get... I like that hat, but it's... I don't know. It's not actually as... I got it because it was what they had. I went the day they opened the first Kraken store. I went over there, and it's what they had, so it's what I got. It's all right. It's better than nothing. But yeah, I'd probably get another one to replace that eventually with the full logo and colors on it. And obviously the inaugural season stick here. So this is the inaugural season stick. For being a season ticket member, it's a wooden stick. Pretty cool. So that's that thing you see there sitting in the background of the videos. Gotta prop that up again. Little whiskey flask, little Kraken whiskey flask that I have yet to drink out of. I might put some like Kraken rum or something. I don't know. I'll put something in there. I don't know if I want to put rum in there, if I'm going to eventually put whiskey in it, but we'll see. May do something with that down the road. Let's see, what else do we have back here? Got the Kraken rum bottle. It's the one the one with like cool, fancy Seattle theme to it that you probably saw. When will Climate Pledge Arena be ready? Haniger strikes out, and we're done. To the top of the 6th we go. Climate. So according to Todd Leiweke, they had Leiweke in the booth for a little bit during the Canucks game a couple days ago, and he said the arena's ready. So they scheduled the home preseason games, and then the NHL scheduled the first like week for the Kraken to be on the road, just in case something goes wrong. They like, you know, that kind of just to be sure. So again, according to Leiweke, the arena's ready to go. It's just, you know, schedule it to be safe. And I think I know there's a concert the night before the first game that's like the first thing in the arena, and I think I want to say it's Coldplay, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm not as big of a concert goer, so I don't know 100% for sure, but yeah. Well, thanks. Definitely appreciate everyone coming out. We'll hang out here for a little bit, maybe watch a little more of this Mariners game, but talk a little bit more about the Kraken. 6-0 loss to the Oilers, but again, nothing to be worried about. Obviously, the scoreboard doesn't look great, but it was the Oilers putting out a lot of their pretty close to what their NHL lineup will be this season, and the Kraken definitely not so much. It's probably close to a half and half split between NHLers and AHLers for the Kraken tonight. And obviously they had Drieger for the first while, which jeez. Yeah, it's a tough game for Drieger. He had a couple of those that he gave up 5 goals. I would say 2 of them were savable, not easy saves. Like he didn't really have one that was like a easy one that he should have had. You could maybe say the first one he probably should have had, but there is definitely two or three of those goals on Drieger that there's really nothing he can do about. Some defensive lapses, which a lot of young guys out there, even on defense. Yeah, there's of their defensemen, they had Lauzon, Borgen, which Borgen's on the younger end, but I think he actually has a chance to make the team. But Lauzon, Borgen, and Alexiak on defense that were kind of the three that are real NHL caliber, and then yeah, a lot of younger defensemen as well. Like let's just go look at let's look at what they have at the AHL. So we saw Connor Carrick tonight. He's on the listed as non-roster AHL. We didn't see Cale Fleury, so I guess it was just those two. Who else do we see tonight? See, we saw Borgen, Lauzon, Alexiak. Oh, we saw Vince Dunn. So Vince Dunn was out there and he looked good, but yeah, a couple slip ups defensively, and a lot of their forwards again. The forward end was pretty inexperienced for the most part. So gotta head out. Thanks for the stream. Appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by, hanging out for a while. Maybe we'll see you again another stream down the road. Yeah, probably a lot of people getting ready to. We'll hang out for a little bit. If anybody has especially anybody that's new or maybe anybody that's not, if you guys have any questions about the game, what went on, how we should feel about it, that I haven't talked about already, feel free to ask those. We'll hang out here for a little bit longer. Nice. I heard the Islanders have to wait between 14 to 20 games before their first game. Yeah, their arena I think was actually not projected to be done by the start of the season, so they're giving them quite a bit longer to be on the road. The Kraken they had planned to have the arena done by, I think they were even planning to have it pretty much done by early September, maybe with some final touches. But yeah, it's construction, things happen sometimes, so give them a few weeks of buffer just in case. You obviously don't want to be in a situation where, just because you planned for it to be ready, that you're expecting it to be ready, and then day comes and something's happened and it's not there, and you have to scramble to find a new place to play. So yeah, not too bad. Just means we just have to wait a couple of weeks for the first home game. That's not a problem. And honestly, for the preseason, I think it's kind of cool. Obviously, Everett and Kent are close-ish to Seattle, but I think having especially that first game in Spokane was pretty awesome. And it's preseason. I wouldn't even mind seeing them put that one preseason game in Spokane every year or every other year or whatever. Do a preseason game or two there every now and then. I think that's probably probably for the best. But strike three called. Mariners go to the bottom of the sixth. 2-1 Mariners still. But yeah, I think there was. Yeah, I don't know much about the construction process of the Islanders' new barn, as they call it, but I think there was some issues with the construction of it, but I could be wrong about that. And so that was part of what pushed it back, and they just kind of play it safe. It is the island after all, so not always the easiest to get construction to and from the island, so. Palm Springs AHL, can't wait to finally hear the name. Heard it will be Firebirds. So Firebird, I don't know. When did you hear Firebirds? I'm curious, because we did hear Firebirds maybe about a year ago, maybe even a little bit over a year ago. We heard Firebirds was likely, and then, it's been about a year and there's been a lot going on, so I don't remember fully, but I feel like I remember that Firebirds got nixed because there was some like copyright conflict or something like that, as they were leaning towards Firebirds, and then it ended up not not being possible for some reason. But yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with that. I like the Kraken like name and brand way better than Golden Knights, but I will say the one thing with Vegas is that their AHL team being the Silver Knights is kind of cool to have that like not exactly the same name, but like clear, very clear like brand continuation between teams. So it'd be kind of cool to see something like that with the Kraken. I don't know what you would do with the Kraken, like the Palm Springs giant squid. I don't know. It's a not a great name, but some sort of mythical beast maybe. What do you think of Kraken versus Flames? I assume tomorrow night, or just Flames in general. The Flames will be like Flames and Canucks are, I think, the big wild cards this season. Both of those teams, I feel like, have the talent on the rosters that they should be able to, make a pretty good push at that third spot. But the Flames have had a couple of disappointing years. The Canucks had an awful last season, so it's hard to say which version of the Flames or Canucks will show up. Obviously, for the Flames, they need to figure out whatever was going on in the locker room, and I think for the betterment of that franchise, they just need to like go all in on kind of building around Kachuk. Obviously, he's not like a McDavid or a McKinnon or that kind of superstar, but he's the best player they have right now. And he I would think should be part of that team's future, and so you kind of want to have like, even if the team isn't like talent wise built around his skill set, at least have a team that like the locker room is able to kind of rally around him. There was a lot of times last season where it seemed like Kachuk would like do a Kachucky like thing, and the rest of the Oilers or the rest of the Flames were just kind of like just Kachuk being Kachuk, being a knucklehead. Like they didn't get behind him at all. Even if he was being a knucklehead, they didn't really like get behind him in the way you'd kind of like to see. All right, who's that? Toro on base. Yeah, Toro gets a single, lead off the sixth. As far as Canucks Flames tomorrow night, based on the lineup, the Canucks Flames, Kraken Flames tomorrow night. As far as that goes, based on the roster the lineup that the Kraken put out tonight against the Oilers, I think we're going to see a much more similar roster to the one that played the Canucks a couple days ago, which bodes better for the Kraken. I haven't really been following the Flames preseason too much, so I don't know what their roster could end up looking, or their lineup could end up looking like for that game. So that if it looks more like the Canucks did, where it is pretty AHL heavy, then it's probably another good game for the Kraken. If it's more of their starters, then we actually will get to see kind of Kraken starters versus division rival starters for the first time, which a little bit of that tonight, but not a lot. So I think as far as the general season is concerned, Flames, Kraken, Canucks, and maybe Kings are probably the four teams kind of in a battle for that third playoff spot with, and fly out to center harmlessly for Kellenic. But yeah, those four teams I think are kind of, and especially Seattle, Calgary, and Vancouver, I think really those three are probably the three battling for that third playoff spot. I don't really like. I don't think the Sharks are such a mess on like off the ice, and then they've had two terrible seasons on the ice in a row, and I don't really see that bouncing back with what's been going on with them. Yeah, Edmonton and Vegas I think are 1-2, or I should say kind of Vegas, Edmonton are 1-2 in the division, and then Anaheim's obviously I think off the back end by design this year. So yeah, we'll see where that lines up. Hopefully more in favor of the Kraken than the Flames, but should be a fun one to watch. What were other names for the Kraken before they settled on the Kraken? Other names, Metropolitans was one that was talked about because of the team that won the Stanley Cup in Seattle 100 years or over 100 years ago now, 104 years ago. First US based team to win the Stanley Cup. So there was, yeah, Metropolitans was one that kind of got that. Bettman kind of said that wasn't going to happen because of the Metropolitan Division. Rainiers was kind of thrown around, but probably not going to happen because there's already the Tacoma Rainiers, the AAA team for the Mariners. Sockeyes was the big one. I think it was pretty much down to either Sockeyes or Kraken, and that was probably the one that had the most fan base behind it. As far as it was, a lot of like Seattle fan base was kind of split between Kraken and Sockeyes. Like that was the battle of people loved Sockeyes and didn't like Kraken, or they loved Kraken and didn't like Sockeyes. I personally prefer Kraken. I think Sockeyes there's ways you could have made Sockeyes all right, but it's ultimately a fish, and kind of a small fish. Like it's a type of salmon and one of the smaller types of salmon. So, local ties, and that's about it. Not very menacing. About as menacing as a duck. Not a mighty duck, a duck. Not to mention the fact that orcas eat salmon, and not that Vancouver is the orcas, but they at least have an orca as their or their logo. So, yeah, I'm happy they went with Kraken. Emeralds, yeah, Emeralds was another one that I actually think Emeralds. I think there's ways they could have pulled off Emeralds to make it cool, but it's a pretty unassuming name, so I don't know. Personally, I'm a huge fan of green, and if they went with Emeralds, then they would have had to be green, which would have been cool, but let's see. Palm Springs Loch Ness Monster. That would definitely be a name. That'd be pretty interesting one. Loch Ness is quite a ways away from Palm Springs in a fairly different climate, but 2-2, 1 out. Toro on first, bottom of the 6th. Wish the Kraken's first game was against the Senators. I mean, I don't know if you're a Senators fan, then I guess that makes sense. The Senators I don't think they're going to be a pushover this year. They probably won't have a great record because that division is really strong. Wow, he cannot get a hang of that slider or whatever he's trying to throw. Yeah, I think that like the Senators and the Kings are in pretty similar phase right now, and even the Red Wings as well, where they're still clearly probably a year or two away from actually being like playoff competitive, but they're like all three of those teams last year very clearly had made. Yes, gets down. That was way outside and should have been a walk, but single helps the stat sheet a little bit more from Terens there. But yeah, the Senators I don't think will be a pushover, so would have been maybe nice to have the Ducks be the first game just to get that first win under the belt, but from the NHL's perspective, you can really market Kraken Golden Knights quite a bit. Yeah, you can market the heck out of Kraken Golden Knights for that first night. There's only 2 games that first night, and Kraken Golden Knights is one of them. So, yeah, obviously they can do that one. Rematch of 1917. Pretty sure 1917 was the Canadiens. So was 1919, which was the year that the Stanley Cup was stopped because of Spanish flu. But yeah, that was Canadiens. Yeah, yeah, that'll be so that 1919 Stanley Cup ended up finishing in a tie between the Canadiens and Metropolitans. I want to say 2-2 tie. So you could see that first Canadiens Kraken game as the fifth and deciding game, but it's obviously not how that works. But here we go. Is that double play? All right, so runners first and third with 2 outs in the bottom of the sixth. I don't really know what happened there. That should have been a double play for the A's, but hey, take it. I'll take it. All right, we'll keep this going until maybe 9:15, and so a few more minutes here, and then we'll close it out. But definitely appreciate everyone hopping in here for this first game stream. Hope it went well. Feel free to leave any comments afterwards, or maybe in the next few minutes here of how you think it went. Anything could change for next time. I don't know if we'll do another one of these during the preseason, but we'll definitely be back for either that first game against the Golden Knights, or if not that one, then definitely the second one. One of those first two we'll do one of these for. So, and we'll get one of these streams going for at least one game a month, like I said, and maybe we'll be able to get that to two a month. We'll kind of just see how the season goes, but we're at least aiming for one a month. Start things out. And again, 6-0 Oilers, but they missed it. 3-1. Fraley gets to third. Okay, then Fraley didn't score from first, even with that ball getting passed. Nice. Bad throw from third, and it's 3-1 Mariners. Nice. How about this? We'll keep this going maybe till the end of this half inning, which actually was. I mean, it was not a perfect throw from third, but that's probably one you want to have at first there. Oh, he kind of got gun shy with Murphy running down the line at him. Yeah, kind of short arms it because he didn't want to get caught with Murphy. All right, got a pitching change. We'll stick it out for the rest of this half inning, and then we'll call it. I don't know. Maybe not many of you are watching the Mariners right now, but playing relevant baseball in September, so we thought I'd check in for a little while here. Yeah, Oilers. Flyers. Yeah, Flyers are one of the teams the Kraken play in that first week on the road. They play Vegas. It's Vegas, then Nashville, then they get a couple days off, and then it's Columbus on the weekend. I want to say Saturday, then day off Sunday, and then back for I think that's Flyers, and then they've got so it's Flyers. Then they've got New Jersey as well, and maybe the Islanders as well. No, it can't be the Islanders. Maybe the Rangers. I don't know, but they've got like their first 5 games on the road. I think. Maybe even more than that. Yeah, probably more than that. Actually, probably their first like 6 or 7 games on the road before they come home on the 23rd to face the Canucks. But 16 of you left. Appreciate it. I don't know if Braun's still here. Donated $2 earlier on. Very much appreciate that. All in all, good stream. Not as big as our draft streams, but that's kind of to be expected. Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about the 6-0 loss. Obviously, it's, as a fan, you always want to see them win, but it's preseason and the score doesn't end up mattering at all. Um, it's really kind of about how the game went, and it could have gone better, could have gone worse. Ultimately, the lineups were heavily in favor. Lineup skill was heavily in favor of the Oilers in this game, as the Kraken were putting out a lot of their AHL younger talent. Um, so the score ends up looking a little bit more lopsided than the two teams actually are. And the Oilers, like, even for what it's worth, the Oilers, again, we know, are kind of a regular season team. Playoffs not haven't been so much their thing. So as long as the Kraken can get to the playoffs, maybe they end up facing the Oilers there, and maybe things are different. I don't know. But that's a long ways down the road. We have to maybe think about playing them in the regular season first. 2-0 to JP Crawford. Runners first and third, 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. Mariners up 3-1. Red Sox already lost today, so the Mariners can pull within a half game of the division lead. Mariners can pull within half game of that second wild card spot with a win here tonight, which would be pretty big considering the Red Sox probably aren't too likely to lose too many more of their final 5. That's a bloop, and that'll end the 6th. All right, well, solid night. Again, very much appreciate all of you who came out, and the 15 of you that have stuck around to this point. Yeah, we'll do more of these streams for sure. And yeah, until next time, go Kraken.